Okay. Okay, yeah, that looks like it's set up correctly. I keep turning the MacBook and I'm like, that doesn't do anything. That's the camera, that's the MacBook. It's just that I get in my head.
It's just that the light's turned on, that's why.
Yeah, and I'm just somehow keep thinking that that's like, okay, give me my iPad there and I'll see if I can get this to work. Hold on a sec. Because it would be really handy if, can I see myself online? Why doesn't it see me online, for God's sake? No, I can see that I'm live, you piece of crap. Come on, just give me my...
It doesn't say that you're live here. Oh, there it is.
What is it there? Oh, okay, there we go. No, yeah, see. So I am actually live, and the glow from the iPad is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. It looks like I'm staring into the suitcase from Pulp Fiction. Or...
Well, now we know how they did it. Without the iPad,
yeah,
the
yeah,
iPad hadn't been invented. They put the weird lights underneath.
Yeah. Oh God, this is so weird. Okay. So I think, will I use this for chat or will I leave it on this? I think I may just use this for chat.
Well, because it just depends on how much you want to be looking at it. Because the feed goes up there.
Oh, I know. But like, oh God, that's just that brightness there. Fucking hell, that's terrible. How do you change this to dark mode?
It's also kind of yellow.
I know, right? How does this?
The thingy on the top there?
There's
Settings
I know
thing.
there's a way of doing this.
Let me see.
No, it's wait. It's in Twitch itself. Settings. No, come on. Appearance. Match system theme. No, don't match the system theme. Give me the dark theme. There we go. Now see, don't look quite so creepy. There we go. Makers and crafting, come on.
We got a thing from the co-op saying, "Oh, we want to introduce you guys. What do you want to say about yourself?"
Oh, there we go. Hi, Matthew. We're totally going to be doing stuff in a second. I'm just trying to get this started out. I think that. Oh God. Okay, I think that actually works because that's basically chat now, and I don't need to keep looking at that because that's gonna. Well, I mean, that's gonna be weird. It's gonna be easier for me to type here one way or another. So.
Are you typing on that though? Do you need your keyboard?
No, I won't need my keyboard. It's just like typing on that in the chat box is such a pain in the box. It's like, I don't know why it is. It's something to do with like the plugin, I guess, for OBS. It's just bizarre.
Right.
Matthew, do let us know if you can actually hear both of us properly. We tried to fix the audio setup. Whether we've been successful now is unknown. We have like a proper directional mic of some, you know this better than I would.
It is a mic that is multi-directional or omnidirectional. No, God, I can't remember the thing. But hopefully you can hear us better and equally.
Yeah. So this is going to be it. So I'm just going to like keep my iPad around here somewhere. I have no idea. Level is good. Oh, thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate it. I've been trying to work at just like when people because I don't get I have to keep watching that like if I don't see it, otherwise I'll have to keep watching chat here, you know. I keep missing stuff like that, and I miss things like shouting out people and a bunch of other bollocks. Okay, I'm gonna put that down there.
Okay.
Just
so good with the setup.
Yeah, we're good with the setup.
I'm just here to look interesting because I'm not sure about half of this. I've never played around with casting. I played around with broadcasting as a radio DJ, but that was like a super old setup.
That's the thing. You were like an actual legitimate like radio personality of some description.
I wasn't a radio personality. I was on radio.
You were on radio, and
people recognized me, and that was kind of weird. They'd hear my voice and they'd be like, "Oh, I've heard you somewhere," and I'm like, "Oh God," that was really weird. That was really weird getting recognized, but. I was using equipment that was already 30 years old at the time, and that was 20 years ago. So, so you know, there was no digital nothing. It was all like tunes and things, and it was knobs, and it was fairly straightforward.
Oh God, I should do the thing where I tell people that I'm actually online.
Well, we're on early.
Yeah, we're on early. Like no, don't switch. Hold on. How do I do the thing? Where's the thing? Self promo. There we go. I'm going to copy that and then do the thing. It's going live with a special guest again.
That's because it's damn convenient for me to be here.
It's a bit, it is a bit like, okay, there we go. There. Good. All right, fine. We've gotten, woo, there we go. Oh, my iPad keeps switching off, so I can't keep track of this.
Well, that's not
the thing is in the place. Yes, the thing is in the place. Hi, River. How's it going? Thank you for still being on. Oh, and I'm actually going to do this properly. Okay. Can you shout out Topher? Hi, Topher. Shout out Topher, and then shout out yourself, just so that I can do the. I'm going to actually be a professional streamer of some kind. Oh my god, I swear I will. Yeah, see, it just shuts down, and then I don't get even to. Oh god.
Well, maybe that's not the way to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna just have to watch it on that, and then I'm just leave the iPad down there. I'm just gonna get annoyed at it.
Do you want me to put the iPad over here so that way you're not stepping on it by accident?
No, if I step on it, that's my own fault. It's fine.
But then I'll feel bad.
Don't worry about it. It's my iPad.
Because I warned you. It's like the mother thing in me.
What?
You know.
No, don't worry about it. We're just if things are going to go sideways, then I'm just going to let them go sideways, and we're just going to, we're going to just live with the consequences of our terrible decisions. Anyway, guys, look.
Yes.
I decided to work on this, and I hope you guys can kind of see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If I can move it, there you go. Hold on. It's getting stuck with the hook. Okay, there we go. Hold it up. It's not fully. I keep getting the hook stuck in it. It's not completely done yet, but you can kind of see it there. Okay. And if you like, I crocheted I just wrote down a pattern. I freehanded this and I wrote the pattern down. Yeah, it's Skyrim. I was looking at the Skyrim. Here, give me that. Mm-hmm. I was looking at the Skyrim dragon, and I was like, I love that. I love that symbol because I love Skyrim. Skyrim is amazing, and I thought I want to do a shawl based on it. So I basically sat down and started working on this, and just freehanded the dragon. So I'm almost getting to the end of it, and I started it yesterday. I've kind of just finished it up today, and I'm working on the last of the skein basically to finish it off. And it is just corner to corner crochet. It is done with. It actually has a front and a back, because this is the front and that is the back. And the cool thing about this is that I'm working right-handed crochet with my right hand going that way, and then when I come back I do it with my left hand so that it has like a particular pattern which is slightly different. Like it has yeah, I know I can't even show it up on camera. Look, if you look at it like, I don't know, if you look at it the way I see it, then you can see the difference, but I'm not sure because it's just corner to corner crochet with a bunch of shit taken out of the middle.
I can't see the difference between one side and the other.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
It looks slightly more tight in one side than the other, but otherwise it looks like identical, and I'm very impressed that you can tell.
Very nice. I saw the oh yeah, take it easy, Topher. I saw the nurse's symbol first because all the family. Oh yeah, I know, right? That would be a really cool one to do as well. Mm-hmm. You can kind of see it a bit.
That looks
there
really
you go.
cool.
There you go.
That is very cool. I
like,
thought it looked like a warhammer at the first. That the wings.
You kind of have to wear it over something really dark or really light, you know. And I was testing it. Like I had Quaid or whatever. Just took a picture of it and with me putting it around my shoulders or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it definitely needs to be bigger. So I got to finish off the skein. But like, you really need to be like, you can't just wear like a tank top. You need to be wearing like a dark top or something underneath it so that you can show it off. But if you do it right, then the dragon wings come over your shoulders and it looks pretty badass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm inordinately pleased about how it's come together. It's just the most lovely thing. I'm just like, yeah, I made a shawl. It's fucking awesome. It's beautiful, and it's in a colorway that I've never seen before. It's just some random fucking thing I bought in the thrift store. And it's probably acrylic yarn, but we're not gonna blame it for that. It's doing its best, you know, and its best is pretty good.
It feels nice.
I keep thinking I'm gonna have to do it on some of your nice yarn. I'll have to do it again, you know, because it's come out so lovely.
I think you should do it in a single color. That will make it really pop.
I think maybe something that doesn't have the metallic in it, that doesn't have the color either, and just like has just not a whole lot of texture. This one has a lot of texture going on.
Yeah.
I think maybe a little less and it'll come up like looking really, really interesting, which is kind of what I want.
Yeah, if you do like a solid color one, I think it'll look really good.
Yeah. I still have the what you call it, the Sweet Georgia sock yarns. I keep looking at them going like, oh, could I do something like that there? And I'm like, no, you can't. Don't do that because it's not going to work. It's like a lot of the ideas. Busy. Yeah, it's like a lot of the ideas I get. It's like it's far too busy. You know, it's a pain in the ass. It's like I keep getting these cool ideas. I'm like, no, I don't have the yarn to do it. I need solid color yarn.
Yeah.
Like half of what's sitting over there that I'm currently ignoring.
You have a nice little solid color.
Yeah.
Choice here.
You see, the thing is that half of the yarn over there is the really good Sweet Georgia stuff, and I don't want to just use it on random half-assed ideas I come up with. So if I do this and I get really it comes out really nice, then I'll pick something to do a specific one or something.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the thing is that some of the nicer yarn frog's nicer too.
Oh yeah, that's true. The Koigu has been doing phenomenally well, considering the amount of crap that I put it through at this point.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I'm working on is a thing called the Radiant Colosseum, which is another shawl, and I've had to consult with my friend Amelia about it because she's also does crochet, and we had just a big discussion, and there's maths involved. They don't tell you how much maths is involved with crochet, but there's a significant amount. It's kind of annoying, but like it's just I was literally sitting down and calculating like the gauge width of all the stitches, and then doing the calculations to get I'm doing it as a half circle. Here's the circumference on this row. Here's the circumference on the next row, and the next row, and the next row as you go along, depending on the height of the row of the stitch that I want to put into it. And I was just looking at going like, okay, you have issues here. I'm just
sounds like you have to use pi.
Yeah, no, I wrote it all out. It was just like
that brings back memories, not good memories, maybe even a bit of PTSD. It's weird. It's like years later, I still, when somebody talks about doing tests, I feel it at the pit of my stomach. I still feel it. It's like I haven't been in school in 20 years, and I'm like, oh God, I do not like tests. Even if they're talking about like, oh, here, have like a blood test.
Yeah,
it's just terrible. Yeah,
I know. I should
really.
It's
like math does the same thing to me. I don't like math.
I mean, it wasn't too bad. Like it's not like back in the day where you had to sit down and try and work with all this crap out by hand. Like I just have Google, and Google says, oh, you want to calculate the circumference of a circle, how can I help you? And it's like, and it just like has a little formula already pre-programmed into it, and all you do is just put in the number for, well, in this case half the radius, because I want to calculate it as a half circle, not the full circle, but it amounts to the same thing. And it's just like,
even just thinking about calculating half a circle, it's just no,
it's okay,
it's just no
it's okay, can't be any worse than I don't know. I don't know. What are you doing at work right now? You said you were busy.
I am busy.
Yeah.
I am cat herding a lot. That's what I do. I cat herd. It's people wanting to go their own way, like cats, and you just sort of kind of try and get them in order.
Yeah.
Going the same way.
Hey Ruth, how's it going? We're just kind of joshing around here. Wolfram Alpha is very yes, I know. I would, if Google doesn't have it, Wolfram Alpha definitely would have it. It's super, super handy like that. But yeah, no, just like if you ever want to do like maths and you want to also do fiber arts, for the love of God, get into crochet and do maths to your heart's content, because that's exactly what it was.
Knitting, designing knitting patterns and crochet patterns in general have a lot of maths. Like if you're going to resize things, it's a lot of math.
Oh God, like trying to calculate the gauge and everything. I'm just like, oh God, no. I was even looking at like just, well, how would I do this in knitting gauge, and how could I, like if I wanted to have rows that were there's not the same height, consistent height all the way along the row, like how would I manage that? And at that point my brain just kind of went kerthunk, and I'm like, okay, not going to deal with this today.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a really cool pattern if I can pull it off. It's just that I frogged that piece, I would say 10 times, and now I got to frog it again after talking to my friend Amelia about it. Because we had this discussion about like, well, how do you want to structure a shawl, and what would be the best kind of choice for placement of different segments, and how to run evenness of the stitches. And now I suddenly understand why so many shawls you see are triangular. Because trying to do this stuff in a half circle is such a pain in the ass. Oh, it's so annoying.
No, it's very,
like it's just a whole thing. It's just a pain in
I don't know, you should read Elizabeth Zimmerman. She did this whole thing about her pie shawl.
Yeah.
And she had the calculations there. She was quite good at the math part of it.
Didn't she do it in knitting though?
Yeah, she did it in knitting, but it sort of applies in the same way.
Okay.
About how I don't know the exacts of it, but basically you're sort of, in order to get a perfect circle without the curling and all that, you kind of automatically, you add a certain amount at the beginning, and then as you go out, as it goes out, you start adding every 5 rows, and then every 10 rows, and then every something like that. It's not quite like that, but it is something like that. The last time I read Elizabeth Zimmerman is this British German lady who kind of taught knitting when PBS was early.
I have her book in there somewhere.
Yeah, her book is in here somewhere, and she kind of did patterns for everyday people. And she also was one of the first to want to publish something that was completely seamless. Back in the day when everything being done was done in pieces, which is exactly what this is. This is a sweater.
Yeah.
And I realized that for my body type, doing a sweater in pieces actually works better than doing a seamless sweater, or doing something from the top down or bottom up where you knit it all together. It just doesn't look as well on me as a seamed piece does.
Yeah, so one thing I actually noticed is that like a lot of the patterns today anyway, especially for knitting, they all seem, and even for crochet is even more like, guilty of this, they are all seamless, they're all just like worked in a single piece. It's like people are absolutely allergic to just like whip stitching stuff together. It's crazy. It's easy to do. I mean, because you can try it on as you go along, and it's kind of nice to, get to a point where you're like, oh, I've done like 3/4 of my sweater already. And pieces don't give you that much, and you also have to do a lot more math, and you also have to do a lot more comparison. Like, okay, I'm adding stitches to the sleeve, and I have to make sure that I have the same amount of stitches on both sides, so I'm doing both sleeves at the same time to get that. And I also want to make sure that it has a certain length. We have like expert level knitting because you do it at the same time.
Well,
I love the curtain. Oh my god, these by the way, if you would like to own a set of curtains like this, they come from IKEA.
From 5 years ago?
Oh yeah, like 5 years ago. They come from IKEA. We went to IKEA. We just moved into this place. We went to IKEA and we ended up like, what are the cheapest curtains we can get that don't look god awful? And I settled on these because they were on sale, and I got like 6.
You have a lot of curtains needed.
Just in here, like it's just lots and lots of curtains because they had nothing up. I had to put up all the rails and everything myself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show this off again for anyone who hasn't seen it. I'm doing a shawl inspired by Skyrim, and it has the big ass dragon motif in the middle of it. If you can, if you can see it there, and it's kind of not really done right at the top. I gotta do this in plain color. Like flat color is the way to go with this, I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's like the colors are kind of cool, and I do like the yarn that I'm working with. It's just I don't think it works for this pattern. I think I'll have to redo it in flat color, and maybe actually in something that really contrasts, something like pure white, or maybe black. But I don't know if I want to be working black because I might lose my mind.
I spent 2 hours undoing a mess I made on a lace that is black lace, and oh man, it was pretty bad. I
regret it.
Yeah, well, I love the lace. I love that yarn. It's beautiful. It's really nice to work with, but it is black, and it's hard to see when you make a mistake. I didn't really notice it for a while, and then I realized it, and then I had to undo like several rows of this. So about 300 stitches each row. So it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of work to undo.
Yeah, then them's the breaks when you delve into the dark side
of black.
So black lace.
Black lace knitting.
Black lace knitting.
No, it's nice. It'll look beautiful, but those kind of with lace, if you mess up and there's sometimes where you can do something. If you end up with a certain amount of repeats in each repeat and you mess up a little bit, you can maybe fix it or fudge it. But then there's some patterns where you can't do that, and it just gets worse and worse and worse as you go along. Yeah. And that's what happened in this one. It was like I thought I'd fudged the fix,
dead bro.
And it didn't work. It just kept getting worse, and then I realized about 6-10 rows in that I had to just do it over again. It was pretty sad.
Oh, it sucks.
It does.
Hey, Dead Chrome, how's it going? How was Hitman? Did you actually do any more of the? What do you think? What do you think of my stream? Your stream is fine, man. For what it's worth, I really enjoy watching the old games. I was watching Dead Crumb playing Hitman. Oh god, what was the first one? Hitman Contracts, and that was the one that was like with the super duper professional assassin difficulty settings.
Mm-hmm.
And then he swapped over to playing Hitman. God, what's the second one? Blood Money. I want to say Blood Money. And then It was Hitman. It was Hitman Contracts, and then it was Hitman Blood Money. And there was some shenanigans in between actually getting like saves and stuff set up or whatever. But have you ever seen the Hitman games?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you know who I live with, so.
Yeah. Okay, so no, it's literally just like it's pretty cool. It's just like going through and doing the missions kind of a thing.
Yeah.
In fairness, like I really like the older games, especially because like like. Can I post a link? Oh no, I can do the thing. I can shout you out. River, if you're still in chat, can you shout out Dead Chrome? And I will totally figure out how to do this properly. Hold on. Okay. Let's just. There we go. Yes, thank you. Thanks, River. Much appreciated. Oh yeah, there we go. I keep forgetting to shout out people who show up in my chat who I know stream as well. It's just like totally just. I forget. You guys show up and I say hi, how's it going? I'm so glad you're here, and then just completely, like pass on like just. Oh yeah, you should also do the shout out because other people might be interested in saying the things that they're streaming. Yeah, Dead Crumb, your stream is fine. I think you should talk more if you want, but that's only because like I basically talk all the time. And that's just how I roll because I don't have music. so yeah, like but that's it. No, your stream is fine. Like I'm really glad you got your streaming computer and everything set up. Like go nuts with that. Do the overlays and everything. I can't get them working at all. I just every time I try, I'm just like, oh, I can't do this, and then I just back out. Yeah, so you'd never believe I was a programmer at all, just 'cause I can't do that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's all there. It's just like a user interface and stuff. Like it's all in Stream Elements. Can I actually do that?
I was a business analyst for IT companies for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've managed to avoid Twitch until now. But yeah, I don't know much about them, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the weird thing that like between the two of us, you actually have like broadcast experience. I'm just kind of pissing about here.
Yeah, but that was like I said, 20.
I know, but it's not
like
it's not
the equipment
like
was super old.
No, I don't mean about like the equipment. I mean like the experience of actually being on the air and talking to people. You even said you had the radio voice.
I do have the radio voice, yeah. Or I did. Maybe I do still. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a different experience because it is you are in a booth talking and there's no echoes or anything. It's much more silent and it's much more of a personal experience unless you're there with somebody else, and then it's kind of like this. But it's more, it felt more formal because you are in a studio and you have this giant mic sitting here that you can move all sorts of places
as opposed to on my couch.
On your couch with my tiny mic. But the thing is that when I was doing radio, we didn't have cell phones. When we did have cell phones, they were like brick cell phones. Am I telling you how old I am now? Anyway, pre-cell phone, normal people having cell phones.
Yeah.
People listen to the radio.
Say something in Irish. River, what do you want to know in Irish? What would you like to hear in Irish? Oh, just for the record, Ali speaks Spanish.
I do.
So you could get a twofer. I'll say something in Irish and you can say that. Can you say the same thing in Spanish?
I could try, yes. Depending on what they're talking about.
Oh, I know that. I can give you either an Irish saying or you can let me translate something. Something about me, I guess.
You'll have to translate it for me. Sorry.
Hang on, let me think. Okay. Something about River. Is Colleen Allini.
Oh.
Is Colleen Allini. And if you want to translate, that's the literal translation. She is a lovely girl, which is
lovely.
Which is a very kind of like calling someone Colleen Allin is like a very It's a very traditional Irish thing. A very traditional Irish way to describe someone.
So lovely as in, oh, you're so lovely, or is it like, oh, they're a really sweet person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like
So,
that.
so in Spanish, what would be the right form for that? It would be River es una chica muy linda, but it's more than that. It's like somebody who's got a nice personality, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So linda is like outer beauty, also inner beauty, but it's more of, it's not beauty. It's like, oh, I don't know. I get my, I don't know if that happens to you when you're bilingual, that your wires get a bit crossed.
Oh, absolutely.
And I sometimes can't think in English. Sometimes I can't think in Spanish, and I can't remember words that I use every day in Spanish or English. You know, like table. And I can describe it to you in any language, I just cannot actually say the word
Oh,
table.
yeah, no, absolutely. So this is, actually, we were going to have, you remember, okay, so we talked a while back about doing a podcast, okay, about random stuff, all right? I think one of the things that we were going to talk about is, like, first of all, accents.
Yes.
Because I sound like a drunk leprechaun, and you've been all over the world, and your accent is from everywhere.
Yeah. It depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
It depends. And it's funny because I noticed there was someone, I think it was an actor, an actress, or somebody well known. It was an actress, I think, that got called out because her accent changed, and people said that she was fake and putting it on. And when she described her life, I was like, "That's me. That's." And it's not. I'm not the only person that happens to, but I do change my accent depending on who I'm talking
Misa,
to.
you know. Don't think that's Spanish. Misa? That's not Spanish, is it?
Mesa. Oh, it's table. Table in Spanish.
Oh,
Mesa.
right. I was getting really confused there for a second. I thought you were talking like Jar Jar Binks. Sorry, River.
No, they know. They look, or they know already Spanish. They know that it's table.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
And I can't remember the word because, like, it's flat on top. It's got legs and those thingies, and you sit on it and or around it.
Yeah. Oh God. So one of the things I remember we want to talk about is apart from accents, because our accents are ridiculous, was also the being bilingual and speaking more than one language, and the way that your gears just occasionally either get stuck or just clash really badly or stop working altogether, and then you get stuff like that where you just can't remember words in any language.
Yeah.
Because I keep getting that, I keep forgetting that, like, or at least I'd be talking to the kids or whatever in Irish, and then I go out and have coffee with someone, and they're just like, and I just stop for a second and going like, oh, the Irish is about to come out of my mouth, and I'm like, wait, wrong language.
I have the problem with people that I meet. Let's say I meet somebody and I find out that they know Spanish. The next time I meet them, it's like my brain automatically switches to Spanish when I see them. And then I start talking to them in Spanish, and it's like I have to backtrack, and it's like, oh wait, there's a bunch of English-speaking people here who don't know what the hell I just said. And it can be very off-putting, especially if you're talking to a client or something, and then suddenly you're like, hey, hola, hombre, ¿cómo estás? And it's like, oh wait, no, sorry. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I find that especially when there's some people that I speak Spanish to and I see them in public, I want to speak Spanish to them, and I continue, and I forget that I'm speaking in Spanish and not in English.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I didn't actually check. English is your second language, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I was born, my parents speak Spanish, and I learned Spanish first, but I had all my education in English. And Spanish to a certain extent. I can read it and write it and all that, but my education was done almost all in English with the advanced Spanish, I guess. I'm
a military kid, so my accent can change depending on the movies, the friends I'm with. Oh God.
Oh yeah. That's me.
Now, the really funny thing is that my husband, Quaid Rain, all right, when we first moved to Canada, everyone thought he was from Newfoundland. And he was just like, oh, you're Newfie, you're from out east kind of thing, just because of the way he talks. And they didn't get it with me. As far as they were concerned, like, I was absolutely from Ireland, because again, the accent, I can't get rid of it. And but they were convinced, and it's something to do with the way he watched too many American TV shows or something when he was a kid, and it, kind of affected the way he spoke. Oh God, it was ridiculous. We thought it was hilarious, because anytime I hear the Newfie accent, it's essentially like if someone took inner city Dublin and mashed it up with Texas. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's weird. It's weird if you're Irish. I grew up in Vancouver.
Don't know if you've ever been to Texas.
Oh no, I've never been to Texas. I just heard the accents.
I lived in Texas. I spoke like a Texan. I had the Texas. I can do the Texas accent now.
You're going to do it in a second now.
Oh God, no.
I grew up in Vancouver and I spent 4 years in Irish University, and it used to drive me crazy. When I came home, everyone said I sounded American. When I was in the US, everyone said I had a funny Canadian accent. I know, right? Oh God. So
well, it happens the same.
Also,
to me.
hi Shannon. Hi Shannon. I was going.
Yeah,
Shannon.
when I was in the States, everyone said I sounded British, and when I was in the UK, everyone said I sounded American. It was weird because I was like, yeah.
Like, where do you say you're from?
I'm from the Americas.
Yeah.
Because I'm British by nationality, but I was born in South America, and I've lived. Well, it's hard to say that I lived half my life now in South America because I haven't. I spent 3/4 of my childhood in South America, and in Spanish-speaking countries. But now as an adult, I've spent my entire adult life in English or European countries. So I guess I grew up in South America and North America, but I moved around a lot. Like a couple of years here, then we moved back to South America, and then to North America, and then back to South America, just back and forth a lot. So it's a bit difficult to say, but I am. It's kind of strange because in Spanish speakers generally can tell where you're from very easily. You know, it's very the accents in Spanish are very regional, and it's very easy to tell where someone is from just by hearing them speak. But when they hear me speak,
it's absolutely the same in Ireland.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if I could listen to someone, if I'm in Ireland and I hear someone speaking English, and I'll know from the accent what part of Ireland they come from. You know.
Yeah.
Because the accents are so distinctive.
Yeah. I mean, it's like in Spanish, there's some. You can tell definitely from someone from Mexico versus someone from Ecuador, someone from Chile, very distinct.
Yeah.
But I have a neutral Spanish accent, and it really unnerves some people because they hear me speaking and they're like, yeah, I know you speak Spanish fluently and obviously like a native, but what native are you? It's very academic. I don't use any colloquialisms that you would use in a particular country.
I mean, I can remember saying to you like you said something. I'm just like, oh yeah, you're British, because you said something that was like straight out of the UK, and I can't remember what it was. There's
some things that because my partner's from the UK, and he's has a lot of British things to say. So, and I did spend quite a bit of time in the UK, longer than I've been almost anywhere else, except for now in Canada. I've been here now a year more than I was in the UK.
Oh wow, really? So, I mean, do you you're not you're like me or whatever. You're not like. We're both filthy immigrants still. Like we're only permanent residents. We're not we're not from around here.
Not from around these parts. No.
Yeah, not from around these parts. You got to do the Texas accent. It's gonna be funny. If I watch Buffy, I'll sound like Willow. If I watch anything with a southern accent, I'll pick that up too, and they're quite different. Oh God, my sister used to do that when she was young. She'd watch something on TV and then suddenly started talking like with the Northern Irish accent, and it was hilarious to us, but she just sounded Irish to everybody else. I can't even use closed captions because I can't tell what I'm saying because there's several accents. I would call it in stream once for it. Oh my God, that's not fair. You can't call someone out for their accent. That's ridiculous. Like, where are you from? Because I can't pick up what your accent is. And you think I don't. Oh my God. No, everybody has an accent. You have a way of speaking, and that is your accent, and it's influenced. Like, there's no kind of like flat accent. Even like what do they call it again? Remember?
Apparently, I have it in Spanish, but not in English. It just depends on who I'm talking to.
No, it's like that. There's a particular like Midwestern kind of voice that they do for radio and TV, and it's like the flat accent or whatever. But even that is an actual accent. That's
the LA accent. They're all in LA.
I don't know. So, do you ever hear like in 1950s broadcasts and stuff on radio, whatever, and they all have that really kind of really over enunciated, very clipped way of talking.
But like the BBC, or are you talking American?
No, it would have been more American, or at least I remember it being like an American.
Yeah, I know, like the wholesome whatever. That was like, I don't know. Yeah. They kind of like that at that time.
It's like they said it. I don't know. It's like I wonder, do people think of that as being like the thing that has there is no accent, but like that's still an accent. Like the way you speak is an accent in every language. It's ridiculous. I was like all over, and they go, "You're a military branch." You're like, oh my God, River. If anyone gives you shit for the way you talk or your accent or whatever like that, tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, I get, as if I get angry, I sound progressively more Irish until I basically become unintelligible, and then.
Yeah, it's funny because when I first met Claire, I was like, I don't really know what she's going on about. I understood 50%.
Everybody gets that. It's worse when I'm on the phone. That's why I can't talk to anybody on the phone. Because one of my other friends told me the same thing. She said, "I'm never calling you on the phone. I can't."
Not in the morning before coffee. You just can't understand. Cipher does not communicate well unless you're Irish. Before coffee in the morning, that's all I'm gonna say. I no idea what you. Sometimes I honestly did not know what you just said to me. I was like, that. Pop it on an email, okay? That's the way to communicate nowadays.
Because you can't go wrong with that, no.
No, I used to work with some.
Oh, there you go. Transatlantic or something like that.
Yeah.
Transatlantic accent or something weird.
Well, that's what it is now, I guess. I mean, I sound like when I'm at work, I sound more. I can't say I sound Canadian, and I don't really know what Canadian sounds like. I mean, when I hear it, I know it. But I find it hard to, like, there's the A, and being natural using the A, you know.
Oh, yeah, but I can't tell the difference at all. Everyone says, "Oh,
you just said A." You just said it.
Yeah, but that's part of the actual, you know, the way the Irish people actually talk. It's not because I'm trying to imitate the Canadian accent. It's just that, like,
there's a way that Canadians do it where it's like, that's Canadian, the A.
Yeah.
And it sounds really natural. But when I do it, I sound so self-conscious. And I'm like, I am now using A. Look at me use A in this sentence. A. It just sounds terrible. I feel very self-conscious about using that because it's just, I don't know. I can't do it. But when I hear it, there are other people who just sound so natural and they're just flowing out.
Yeah, but sure, they're Canadian. They don't.
But they are Canadian, yes.
Yeah,
they're Canadian.
They've done their whole lives. Well, no, accents are very funny things. Like I have no ear at all for any accents in North America unless they're very, very strong. Like, I can tell the difference between, like, I know what a Boston accent sounds like. I kind of know what a New York accent sounds like, maybe, or maybe Deep South or whatever. And I know that those are different things, but if you get me any more specific than that, I'm like, nah, fuck it, I can't tell you anything.
I used to be able to tell people from Tennessee the difference between the people from Tennessee, Georgia, like Kentucky, and that kind of accent as opposed to Texas and other southern accents, but I can't tell them as easily now. But I used to live in Texas. I lived there for many years, and I first learned English in Texas, so I sounded very Texan.
Do the Texas accent.
I don't know. I need to say something very Texan.
I'll try and do Boston accents.
Okay, I'm gonna think because I have one of my oldest friends is from Texas, and also by pure coincidence, a friend of mine, one of the first friends of mine from university is also from Texas and lives there now. So I'll pretend I'm talking to them. So, well, first of all, I have to say y'all. Hey y'all, how you doing? Oh, I can't do it. I have to be talking to someone from Texas.
Oh my God.
And then I'll be like, y'all, I just can't believe I just did that.
As a Canadian who's lived in 4 provinces, has very different uses based on locality. I believe it.
See, I don't know
Absolutely.
that. I've barely even lived in BC. I mean, it's like I've only been in the Lower Mainland and one place that's very close to the Yukon, and maybe a bit of the northern part of Vancouver Island.
I've never even been out east. Like I've only ever seen like videos and everything of like when someone was
been at the
showing
airports.
Someone was showing us what the Newfie accent sounds like, and they played some videos and stuff. And I've watched a bunch of Letterkenny and Corner Gas. That's it. That's my entire experience of Canadian life, apart from Vancouver. I would never have guessed. Very interesting examples. I want to know. Maybe say "bless your heart" in a Texas accent. Can you do that?
Oh, bless your heart.
There you go.
Bless him.
I have no idea if that's accurate or not. I can't tell the difference.
Oh, bless him.
Classic Texan phrase. Yes, I have been told as such. I do know. So my fun fact, all right? My dad is an actor. My dad, guy from bumfuck nowhere in Ireland, is actually an actor, right? My dad wanted to be like an actual professional actor his whole life, And he ended up giving it up when he had a family because he was being sensible like and decided that he was going to actually work in a factory and earn money and stuff because there was no way to make money being an actor back in, the 70s, when he was about my age now. And it kind of worked out obviously because he raised 4 kids and all that, but in his retirement he's gone back to acting. And he's now an extra in the Netflix series that get filmed in Tara Studios in Limerick, in my hometown.
Oh my god.
In Ireland. It's fucking hilarious. And the upshot of this, right, and when I was growing up, right, Dad was just he's always done amateur theatre, he fucking loves it, and he loves to act, and he's gifted when it comes to doing accents, okay? And he, at one stage tried to teach all the kids, just like, you maybe want to learn, if you ever decide you want to be an actor, go into this kind of thing, or you want to go into the theatre, you want to know how to do voices. And he can do voices really well, including the accents, and because it's part of a study, that kind of thing. And when we ended up going to Boston when I was about 15 to visit my cousins, because, having American cousins is a very traditional Irish thing as well. Dad tried to teach us how to do a Boston accent. And I can remember walking through Harvard, right, and just, kind of, looking at all the nice, oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, look, I'm going to make a command for the bubbly, all right? I have the grapefruit. I did the bubbly. She's got I've
got the strawberry.
The strawberry one. Anyway, we were walking through Harvard and admiring the scenery and the trees and all the lovely buildings and all that. And Dad says, okay, look, if you want to do a Boston accent, all right, this is what you do. Park the car in the Harvard yard. I can't even do that right. Park the car in the Harvard yard. It's like you don't pronounce the R's or something?
Yeah.
Is that terrible?
It sounds like it, though.
Really?
Yeah. I went to university in Massachusetts. By total coincidence, the person who would be sitting in the cubicle next to me happens to be from the same area that I went to university with. And when I first heard him speak, he sounds completely normal, and then he got really excited about something, and then I'm like, oh my god, I know exactly where you're from. It just came out.
It just came out.
But see, this is the way my dad talks about different accents, like Texan versus Boston. He said that with the Boston and the British accent, it sounds like you're eating a potato and you have it right in the front of your mouth. Texas, it sounds like you're eating it like on the side of your mouth.
So, Roddick versus non-Roddick. Yeah, something like that. There's a guy on YouTube who does this amazing study, and he just describes, and he can do all of these different accents. He's like a linguist or a vocal coach or something for actors or something. And he talks about accents and what goes into them and stuff. Super, super interesting. And it was freaky listening to him do an Irish accent, because he nailed it so well, and it's rare, really rare, for anyone who's not Irish to do a decent Irish accent. It just, God, it was so
as long as you can throw in a grand so here and again.
No. Do you know what the real dark horse was for Irish accents, right? Because I've heard 1,000,001 terrible ones, right? Mm-hmm. And someone who I know can do a really good one is Brad Pitt.
Oh god.
Yeah.
But didn't he sit there and practice because he wanted to be in that? He was in one of the movies.
No, he was in shit.
That Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels one. The other one, Snatched.
There you go. He was in
Snatch.
He was in Snatch, right? And he was playing a traveller, and it's based in the UK, but there's a lot of crossover between the cultures and everything like that. But he was pulling that accent that he did was basically a very pure Irish traveller accent. And I was leaving, he sounds unintelligible to basically everyone. All the rest of us were me and Quaid and everything were watching that. I remember when we saw that movie first, we were like, oh, I was like, I didn't know Brad could do that accent. It's really good. And he was perfectly intelligible to us. and
they had subtitles.
Yeah, they had subtitles for everyone else. And one of our friends who was with us she's from Oakland or whatever. She's American. She was like, what the hell is he saying? It was hilarious. He was doing Cape Breton. I have no idea. I only know that I know that accent because I've heard it growing up. Mm-hmm. He sounded Irish to me anyway. No idea. Accents are so weird.
Yeah, I've just sort of given up. I mean, I sound the way I sound. I can't really sound any other way. No. And it happens that which the people that I sit with, I end up mimicking almost their own accents. I go to Texas. My younger sister lives in Texas now, and when I go visit her, I end up talking like her too, and I slip back into the y'all thing very quickly. And if anybody said, like this guy from Boston, he uses y'all a lot too, and I'm like, I suddenly found myself saying it. I was like, no, stop, don't say y'all.
Hydrate, stretch, crochet with the other hand. I actually will be turning around and crocheting with the other hand in like 2 stitches, so hold on. That accent is very northern Nova Scotia. I have no idea what that sounds like. Oh, Cape Breton. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, just stretch.
That helps your shoulder.
Oh, I mean, it helps my shoulder because I can just go like this and suddenly feel this crack as I move my hand like that. Yeah.
Ouch. I heard that.
Yeah, did you hear that?
I heard that. Yeah, that sounded pretty nice.
Yeah. In case anyone doesn't know, about 6 months ago, like last year sometime, I blew my back out twice inside a week, and that effectively crippled me for the best part of 6 weeks, and then I couldn't do my job anymore and ended up having to quit. Yeah, it's yeah. So my back is fairly well, it's not really my back, it's mostly my upper back, and my left shoulder is fairly destroyed, so like, yep, gotta do the stretch thing. And occasionally I wake up at god awful o'clock and have to take painkillers, which is what I was doing this morning. I was up at 5 a.m. Definitely not a Colorado thing. I mean, I guess so. I don't know anything about like the American states and their accents, and like apparently there's like massive variability in like all the states, even like within states and stuff, and you can like track the accent changes as you go across the country and whatever, but like I have no idea.
Well, I always found the UK to be really interesting because there is a huge amount of accents, and it's not a big country. I mean, when you think about it, it's actually quite a small country, but the amount of variety that there is and the way that people hold on to that variety was really interesting to me. I lived in Manchester, and when I first moved there, I went to the market and I thought, oh, I'm gonna, I was just looking and enjoying being in the UK, and I saw this bread, and it looked identical. It was in one stall in the market, it was called a bap, and in the other stall in the market right across from it was called an oven bottom, and they looked identical. And I thought, well, this one's sweet, this one's salty. I mean, what's the difference? So it's like they look the same. So I bought both and I tasted them, and they are identical. Yeah. Except that one is from like Lancashire and the other one is from Yorkshire. That's the difference. That it's the same bread.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same in Ireland. Like, I lived in Cork, in the south of Ireland for like 11 years. Like, I went there for college and just stayed there for a really long time, pissing about and making nothing of myself. And one of the things you notice if you're around Cork is that like there's the kind of posh areas, and they have the standard Cork accent kind of thing. And if you go to the inner city of Cork, suddenly the accent just gets a little bit more nasal and a little bit more extreme, and it's like the accent shifts just from essentially walking for like an hour, and it's completely different from like the inner city of Limerick accent, and completely different again from like the Dublin accent. And that's just like you drive for 3 hours and you get there. It's nuts. Oh god, Cork is its own little microcosm of weird anyway, but the accent, like, it's not something you'll ever forget. It's like, alright, bye. How's it going? Check out your man there, is he langer? A langer is not a good word, just in case. But yeah, it's just like, it's much more like all in the mouth kind of thing. Sounds Colorado like didn't really have much of an accent, so if anyone is not from Colorado, you can if anyone is not from Colorado, you can tell instantly. Oh, okay, yeah, right. Oh yeah, okay. So River, if you're in Colorado, it must be super late. Wait, where's Colorado again?
It's in the middle of the country. You said like near Oklahoma.
That's meaningless to me. I can barely remember where things are in the coasts.
Colorado is where all the people in the other states want to go.
You're an hour. I was just thinking like it's not crazy o'clock for you. You're an hour ahead of me.
Yeah, it's not that.
Okay, it was just.
My geography is not the great either, but I do kind of know it's sort of mid-country. But Colorado is where a lot of other people who in the states around it aspire to be in Colorado because it's cooler there and mountainous, and kind of the California of the Midwest, maybe. Yeah.
My friend used to live there.
I've had a lot of people who I've known who've moved there. I don't know if they're still there, but they all wanted to move there.
She moved there she moved to Vail because she was a massive snowboarder, and she did like web design and stuff like that, but all she wanted to do was just get out there, and she snowboarded like for 6 months of the year or something like that. It's nuts. It's 12:30. Oh my god, Ruth, you don't have to stay up and listen to us just talk rubbish. You can just go to bed, it's fine. Like, I'm going to change this. So like Sunday nights is essentially two middle-aged women talking absolute crap and just doing fiber arts and generally being ridiculous. Oh yeah, so just so you know, change to my left hand, okay? Because like this is the way this always works. It's like from going this way, going from right to left, I work with my right hand. Going from left to right, I work with my left hand. So change hands.
I just changed from using my thumb to using my pinky, or whatever this finger is.
Which, oh yeah, for the continental. Oh, so here's the thing, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you about this. Have you ever heard of Nordic pearls?
Maybe. There's like so many different ways of knitting that...
So this is a particular thing I heard about knitting, all right? It's a Nordic pearl, which is like essentially the way that someone decided was a good idea to solve like the issue of trying to do purl stitches on continental, which is like this weird kind of back and forth bollocks. Which I was looking at it going like, that seems awfully complicated to do a single stitch.
I maybe have seen it even.
Yeah,
it's funny because when I first started knitting, I was taught by my grandmother many years ago, and the way that I was knitting for many years after was kind of like the way you approach a knit stitch. I was doing it backward, but somehow I was untwisting, and so I would twist the yarn going one way but untwist it the other way, the way I was purling, and that was really it made lace knitting very confusing. And so I once it was pointed out to me, I was like, oh okay, I can do it the other way, and I started doing it the other way. So now it's really hard for me to replicate it the way I used to do it, but it is it's kind of a modified way of knitting. Yeah. So I did look into that. That's combination knitting. Yeah, maybe. And it's like instead of thinking about like going in through the front to the back, you're always looking at like, well, you're going in through the leading leg of the stitch. Yeah. And there's no such thing as twisting or untwisting because it's kind of meaningless if it applies either way, and it's a pain in the bollocks because it means you got to like adjust a bunch of patterns and everything. Yeah, that was basically what I was doing, is that I had to adjust it. So in the end, I just changed my way of knitting, so I could do the patterns that I wanted to do. And now I can't replicate the way I used to do it, but I mean, I could show you if you want, because this is the way I knit. You know, it's in all honesty, I can't do it anymore. I just can't. I found that it's good because you can just basically because you can purl as fast as you can knit, if not faster. Yes, well, it's good for that kind of thing. In South America, the I can't remember this particular group of indigenous people in Ecuador. They do color work, but on the purl side. Really? Yeah. God, I want to see that now. Instead of work with that. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, they work in the round, but they do the purl side. Yeah. That's the dominant side. Yeah. And they do all the knitting on the purl side because it's faster. I believe it. Yeah. So my brain does not word well. Oh God. It's fine. Yeah, Ruth, you should probably go to bed. I don't think you want to see this. God damn it, River. Work without glasses for 2 minutes. Do you want to set a timer on your phone? I will do. This is going to be interesting because I generally cannot work without glasses if I'm dealing with my left. So if I can't pull this shit off, I'm blaming you. Hi, Decrum. Enjoy the crochet. I'm going to work without my glasses. Ready? Do you want to do this as well, or are you gonna? I haven't even looked at my knitting except for when I finish, so I can do it without my glasses, no problem. Okay, just ready. Okay. Can you put this someplace where they're not going to get crushed? I won't be able to see them. There we go. Yeah. Well, I can take off my glasses too, but they don't make much difference when I'm knitting. I'm knitting a plain stitch, so you know, if I was knitting something more specific, it would be harder, but it's not. Well, the problem is that I just remember where I am. 1, 2, 3. You have to go by feel. Yeah, I have to go by feel. Because I can't even see chat, so. I hope you guys are enjoying the fact that I can't read anything you're saying. Go ahead and just talk whatever. Talk amongst yourselves, I don't know. I can't read the chat either. No. I think I mentioned last time, there's this one sweet spot that I can actually read without my glasses, neither too close nor too far away. And unfortunately it's not the sweet spot.
like, just, I need to be able to feel the hook as well. It's like, it would be easier for me to just fucking close my eyes at this rate.
Feel the yarn. Feel the stitch.
No, it's like, it's the hardest thing in the world, because I need to kind of maintain edge detection as well, because I need to know which way the hook is facing, and I kind of can't, because I can't even feel like I keep having to put my thumb up to kind of pick up where the fucking hook is.
I think maybe that's why I picked up knitting and not crochet. Again, I picked up knitting after not knitting for many years, as something to do because I used to cross stitch, and then I picked up knitting because I had a baby and I wanted to do something with my hands, and knitting was easier to pick up and put down, and then you don't have to. It's not so hard to know where you're at with knitting. You can figure it out with simple patterns. I mean, not lace and things like that, but in general it's pretty easy to know, okay, this is where I'm at. Crochet, I always had to look at it. There we go.
Yeah, I did one stitch.
Here you go.
Okay. Alright, there we go. I successfully did one stitch without my glasses. Oh, okay, just hang on. So, my gosh, yeah, but now I can't read chat, sorry. I have to get, I've yet to have the no loss thing have to be treading that time. Look, you'll do it, you'll bugger it up, and then you'll get used to it, it's fine, it's fine. This is something really important, so this. Hey, it's Super Crochet remove yourself. That I needed them. Yes, I managed to do one stitch with my left hand. I probably do better with my right. Christ, such a pain in the ass. Like, the problem with doing it is that you need to be down here with your thumb in order to tell which way the hook is facing, but you also need to have your finger up here to know where the hook is and the stitches on it. Christ, it's a pain in the ass. And the thing is that I can almost do it by muscle memory, but not on this yarn, because this yarn is so fucking fuzzy. It doesn't want to be worked like that. This is lovely yarn, and I really enjoy it, and it's very soft, and it's come together really great. But like, it's not going to be agreeable if I need to frog it, or if I'm rough with it. I must be very gentle with it, or else it's not going to play nice. I'm blind, and now I'm doing micro crochet. It's not going to work well. Oh dear God. Just know what you're getting into there.
Yeah.
Oh God, I did it once, and I managed to do the flower that's like literally a centimetre across. Oh God, that was a trip and then some. Have you ever tried to do micro knitting?
Micro knitting.
Yeah.
I sort of did, because my kid was born premature, and they were very tiny, and I had to make these mittens for them when they were first born, and the mitten basically fit over my thumb, and that was our entire hand. And so I did this really tiny yarn, and granted, like in South America, I didn't even know that yarn came. There was thin yarn and really thin yarn, and thread, and then there was like slightly thicker yarn, and that was like the big thing. It just seemed like there wasn't a lot of variety, so I'd done very thin knitting before, and but in this case I was like the thinnest needles I had with this very thin yarn, and it almost felt like I wasn't knitting at all with it. It was really hard. I also found this one yarn that was cobweb lace yarn. Oh, God. And I think you saw it. The entire skein is tiny, like a tiny little ball.
Oh, I know. Like,
but it was over 1,000.
It's over there. You gotta grab it. It's around there somewhere.
Did I give it to you?
You did. It's in the pile somewhere.
Oh.
You gotta get it now, because it's so. It could be underneath a bunch more of them because it's so small. There you go.
Oh, this isn't it though.
That's not it.
No, this is not it. This is actually. There's one thinner than that. That's
How do you do that? Some parts of this, if anyone wants to know, okay, this is like 1.5 inches high, at most. And I had to wind it up on, like, I couldn't use my big Nostopin. And I couldn't even do it on the fucking ball winder. The ball winder was too big. I ended up having to get my smallest spindle and wound this by hand. And it took me a fucking age to do, and some of it was thinner than a human hair.
Yeah.
That was just, that was like hard mode, like winding stuff up. It's ridiculous.
No, the cobweb lace one that I have is about this size, but it's 1,800 meters in a bodice size. It's really thin and small. And
how would you work that?
Well, good question, and I have not been able to yet. Even using very small needles, the holes look quite big.
Yeah.
And it's very, because like, you're holding your yarn and you can actually hold it and grab it and pull it, and you can put some tension. This one is so thin, I can barely feel it, that I don't know what tension it's on, because I don't feel it against my fingers. And I find that I would break it because I was putting too much tension on it.
I mean, that begs the question, is like, how would you work it at all? It would just like break if you tried to move it.
It depends on how tightly spun it is. I mean, some things can be very tightly spun. I mean,
Yeah.
thread is very thin, but it's about as thin as the cobweb lace, but it's very hard. It's hard. You have to kind of tug it quite a lot to break it.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Like the one thing that I noticed, right, when I was doing the micro crochet anyway, I got my smallest hook, which is like, I don't know, point something of a millimeter, is this teeny tiny little thing, and then I just got like a single strand of the embroidery thread, because they're all 6-strand threads or whatever.
Yeah.
And just started working that, and I found that it was just so small that I couldn't even hold it to get the hook in.
Yeah.
Because the stitches were literally so tiny. It was just like, I was like this, like feeling ridiculous, and trying to make it work. It drove me absolutely crazy, and you get eye strain doing it. That was the problem.
There's some people that knit for Barbies and dolls and things, and they make these tiny little outfits.
They must have like those big magnifying glasses or something, because I can't imagine how they do it without developing eye strain. It's unreal.
They do have these gigantic magnifying glasses that you can wear on your, like, here, and they have lights and everything, and depending on how cool you want to be, it's like, yeah, the level of coolness ends at how many lights you need on top of this one.
No, I think we can all agree this, like, coolness just doesn't really apply to anything that we do at this rate.
Well, that depends. Are we talking like cool in craft circles where you have like this giant thing here at your hands, and you knit so tiny that you need this giant magnifying glass? That is pretty cool.
Oh my god, I saw something on Discord the other day which I thought was the cutest thing. Someone was making little granny square cushions, except the cushions were maybe about 2 inches across.
Oh wow.
Done with granny squares. And I was just like, I don't even know what these would be for, but I want to make them now because they look so small.
They do like miniature like dollhouse furniture and miniatures, right, and they do lots of miniatures. Like there are people out there who do like miniature train sets, and they do entire scenes.
Yeah.
People do miniature sets, like they'll copy their entire home in miniature. It's just
but why?
So if you have a crocheted blanket, you need like a miniature version of this crocheted blanket. Oh, I don't know why, but somebody out there, it fulfills them. Well, in fairness, there's some part of Twitch where people like essentially leave streams up of them sleeping, and I always think that, like, that's literally, like, I should not be surprised by the stuff I hear people doing on the internet these days, and yet here we are. Oh god, it's just crazy. Oh hey, yeah, I got a beep. Excuse me, sorry for interrupting everything. I'm gonna need sugar for my coffee. Go make sure you get caffeinated, man. Demon666 Lord, your username is needlessly repetitious. We all know that demons are 666. Is that the number of the beast or something? Don't know.
I don't know. I hope you're into heavy metal, because that seems like a good username for someone who's into heavy metal. Don't know why.
Depends on.
Will you guys put your fingers in my cup for a second, please? Thank you. Dude, seriously? Just to be clear, what you have here is a stream with 2 middle-aged women who are probably old enough to be your mothers, and we're literally sitting here talking bullshit and doing fibre arts. Bye. Thanks, River. Oh, I love that. It just, like, I don't understand the thought process of trolls. And at this point, I kind of wanted to go David Attenborough on them, if that makes sense. Like, here's the troll in a natural environment. See how they attempt to increase their reputation among the pack of other trolls by engaging in these mating displays. And then you do the David Attenborough, the thing David Attenborough was like the female birds clearly not interested and they wander off. So it's like, unfortunately, this time around, his display was not successful. Weirdo. Oh, welcome to the internet. That's not even the worst thing I've ever been called. That's not the worst thing I've ever been called by people I actually like. Oh God, I was in someone's stream the other day, and they were watching like Elden Ring and just you know, playing games and stuff like that, and they were talking about insulting women, and one of the guys goes like, you know, what if I called Sorry for Love like a bitch cunt or something? You know, you guys would take offense at that. And I'm just listening here going like, I'm just kind of laughing to myself, going like, and you know, the rest of the chat were just like, oh, just seriously, that's a bit much, isn't it? And I was like, I've been called worse. Absolutely been called worse. And that's not even the strangest thing I've heard today. Like, for top 10 strange things men have told me on the interwebs, that's probably not even in, like, maybe my top 20. I don't know where they're going with that, though. Like, I always kind of wonder, like, sugar in their coffee.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
The what?
This the guy was talking about, like, sugar in the coffee and like stick your fingers in the coffee. I mean, not the king shame or anything, but that's a weird one. I don't get it.
That we were so sweet.
No, I mean,
I know even less.
Bullshit, you know?
I moved on already because I was like, what was he even going on about?
I know, right? It's like, the thing is that I'm normally all about the coffee. Yeah,
that's true.
I'm normally all about the coffee. I literally followed a guy into, like, there's a guy streaming or whatever, more Elden Ring or whatever, and his channel point, like, his little channel point stuff. I have yarn balls here, okay, but he had coffee beans, all right, and I was just like, whoop, followed. You got me on board. Like, you know, I'm a simple woman. I see coffee, I follow. It's like the thing that everybody knows about me at this point. I drink too much coffee.
You do drink a lot of coffee. I don't. I very rarely drink coffee.
No, you drink the tea instead.
I do drink a lot of tea. Tea has a lot of caffeine too, so.
Yes, it's true.
I have to be careful with caffeine nowadays. Can't drink it after a certain time.
Did you actually clear out, like, the rest of your tea? You were saying that you kept finding more tea that just
yes, I found more tea
apparated from nowhere.
After having a massive clear out of a tea collection, and it is now a tea collection. I kept finding more tea. And it seems like I never cleared anything out. I was like, what the hell happened? So I told my kid, because my kid's a bit of a tea fiend as well, I was like, we're not buying any more tea from now on until we have run out of whatever it is that we have. And they even pointed at a box, and it's like, oh, what's that? I didn't know we had that. And I was like, we got that for Christmas 3 years ago. Okay, just to be clear, all right? I was up in your place, and you literally had new tea that you just bought from Granville Island or something sitting on the counter. Because that was from that's important tea. There's like everyday tea, and then there's all the other stuff.
Do you like James Hoffman? I fucking love James Hoffman. He's so relaxing to listen to because all he does is talk about coffee in this lovely, soothing English voice. It's amazing. He's a guy on YouTube.
I've heard of him, and I just didn't know that there was that much to know about coffee. In all honesty, I mean, it's like, wow, that's a lot. And there are well, I didn't know this. This is, I think maybe because now we're living so close together that I'm starting to get on my Google and YouTube streams stuff about coffee that I didn't get before. And I'm thinking,
it's because I'm there.
Have they kind of mixed signals here?
No, they hear me talking about coffee.
There is a barista world championship.
There's a barista world championship.
There is.
For what?
For being a barista, I guess.
Oh my god.
And there's this barista that's talking about
cold brew guy.
For.
Oh, I know. Oh my god, Ruth, I have the most amazing recipe for cold brew using my AeroPress, and that is literally what I have in, like, the summer. It is godlike. Fucking godlike.
This person did for their they have to give a presentation or a course, a 3-course for the judges of different drinks, and they did this mango lime espresso coffee thing, and I didn't even know you could do that with coffee, or I would want to do that with coffee, but apparently it's a thing. I was like, wow, I did not know. But it sounded delicious, though. I mean, it sounded. They have a particular way of doing milk so that it becomes more milky,
and not just cream.
Yeah, it's
okay.
What was it called? So I used to think that by freezing your milk, you're kind of screwing it up a bit. You can freeze it, but it's sort of.
Oh wait,
but
so
you do like you freeze it and then you do. It's sort of like you let it.
Yeah.
Defrost, and then what you get is like this essence of milk.
Oh god, did they get the water? Oh, that sounds disgusting.
There's a name for it. There is a name for it. It's
James Hoffman World. Oh, James Hoffman World of the Worlds. There you go. Chai Fox Creations. I love your name. I wonder, do you like chai tea? Change crochet style. Okay, I'm currently using my left hand. Left hand knife grip. I'll switch over to pen grip. I'm not as good with pen grip with my left, unfortunately. Sucks a bit. Oh, thanks, you too. Yeah, like a decent chai is, I think, something that's kind of hard to find in Vancouver, because I don't know where you get it though. It's just like, I don't even know if Gigi Blinn does a good chai tea. Like or good
depends
chai
on the type you like, you know. I had a friend from Nepal, and she taught me how to make, like, she did her chai from scratch.
Oh, okay.
And then I had a friend from India, and his mother would send him chai mixed. Like, she'd make a mix and she'd mix it, and then she'd mail it to him in the United States, and that was really good chai. That was really good.
Yeah, it's like the ones I've had like chai a couple of times in, I would say, like Starbucks and stuff like that, and never really liked it.
Not the same.
You know, yeah, I know, not the same. I keep meaning to try the one down in like our local cafe here, but like never get around to it. You don't get decent chai out of India. Well, yeah, I guess so. They'd be the experts on that. This is annoying. So I can do many different styles of crochet. Unfortunately, with my left hand, I can only do maybe like 3, maybe 4 on a good day. I could do far more with my right. Unfortunately, this blanket must be worked with left in this particular row, so, or shawl. It's not really a blanket, it's not going to be big enough for a blanket. So we're just going to go with it and see how far we get. Do this. I crochet left-handed, which throws everyone through a loop when they watch it. Oh, you're fantastic! You're actually the first person I've met who actually crochets left-handed, apart from me. I'm a crochet instructor. I can knit and crochet, but I mostly crochet, and I can crochet with either my left or my right, and I can crochet one-handed, with my left or my right, and I do multiple styles with both hands, and I did crochet once with my feet and found it to be really tricky. I really want to like tea and matcha and stuff, I just can't get into it. I know, right?
Which one? The matcha?
Yeah, like matcha is another one, which is like it blends here in Vancouver, does a really nice like matcha latte. But that's about it. Like I've never had other like decent matcha that I would drink. I just don't like it. It just, I don't know.
It depends. Again, it depends on what you
River,
like.
you're left-handed as well. Do you actually crochet left-handed as well, or have I never seen you crochet? I can't remember. I think I'm blanking on it now. Yeah. I gotta get it up now so I can actually reach out. I crochet left-handed because I spent 2 years learning to crochet and it wouldn't stick until someone hold the yarn the way you do for knitting. Oh, I see. To hold it in left hand, of course, it clicked immediately and I had done like 2.5. Yeah, there you go. You do technically knit right-handed too. Oh, okay, right. So, you hold the yarn the way you do for knitting, you have to hold the hook in your left hand. So the hook's like this. Yeah, you must do it. Yeah, right, okay. I wonder, do you do English throwing style with your left? Because that would be even more unusual. I don't think I've seen, like I can do English throwing style crochet with my right. But I'm practicing to get the style with my left. I'm terrible at it and I can't quite get the motion right. I can do simplified English throwing style with my left. I don't knit left-handed at all, I English throw with the right. Oh, okay, so you are doing English throwing with the left if you're doing crochet. because you're holding the hook in your left. So if I do it like, I'm going to just try and demonstrate this because I'm quite a bit kind of sucky with it. Alright, so English throwing style, if I was doing it my right, would be much easier to do, but for this, it's like, come on, throw up, in, throw, like that, and I'm buggering it up because I'm not keeping even, which shows you how much practice I still need to do doing this. So continental knitting is not quite this. Continental knitting still uses the yarn is on this side, but the hooks are kind of.
I'm doing continental knitting right now.
Yeah, no one's doing continental knitting.
I'm holding the yarn on my left hand, and I'm.
So this is essentially simplified English throwing style with my left. If you're doing English throwing style with the right, you obviously have it, you know, like that, and then throw with your right. But in this case, yarn on the left and you throw on the left. So you're throwing with the left hand. Oh, okay. So you do English throw with the right, but then you modify it more pick. Interesting. I don't know, do you stream at all? Because I'd be really interested to see how you do it now. I'm going to actually switch back. I'm so curious. Like, I have VODs, yeah. Okay, hold on. How do I... How the fuck do I follow you? Is it... No, I don't... Okay, hold on. Where's the thing? Oh, and the battery's running out on my MacBook. Fuck. Hold on. Yep. Offline. Wait, there we go. Gotcha. And kill that. Yeah, okay, I got it. I just managed to get a follow in. Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna have to actually go get the MacBook charger because that's about to die.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have to unplug this for a second and plug in your.
Okay.
Oh god, the stream's gonna go down. Ah! If you want to show people when we're taking, yes, I definitely want to. I'll go and check your VODs. I want to see what it looks like. Give me. No, hold on. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Well, I'm knitting continental style, which is just, but it looks like I'm just barely moving my fingers, and that's just because I'm being more, I guess, more shorter with my knitting, and that way, it doesn't look like it takes a huge amount of effort. Yeah, it's when I purl with the thumb. But when I'm knitting, doing the knit side, I use my other finger, this one, more just to move it around. But some people use the needle and they move the needle around more, like they use the needle to wrap it around and things. I kind of do a little bit of both, but the thumb wraps around the needle, and then, yeah, so I just use my thumb, which I think is, like I said, there was an indigenous group of people in Ecuador who knit on the purl side with color work because it's just faster for them, and they use their thumb a lot. So I kind of saw that and I started using it because it just made a bit more sense to me, and it makes them go a lot faster.
Hold on. I gotta rearrange stuff.
Yeah, so I'm right now I'm purling. I'm not knitting.
Come on. Okay, this is going to be somewhat interesting. Where's your thingy? Okay, hold on. So we may lose audio, so I'm going to just.
You could put the power in here.
No, hold on. Okay, so this is going to weird. You guys are going to just. Let me just pull this out for 2 seconds. It needs to power in. It's frozen. Oh, because I pulled out the camera. Okay. We're going to just rearrange everything real fast then. Okay, there's that. And where do I plug this in? Ah! There's that. Okay, do we have that back? We do.
Yes, it
Okay.
looks like it's back.
Okay, hold on. Ah, shit. Let me just... Where's the plug? There's that. Okay, let's unmute that and then... Device. Go mic. Okay. Is that working?
Yep.
Did I do that? Don't touch anything in case it breaks. Are we good? Are we good? Hey! Okay. Okay. Camera working, mic working. We're fine. And I managed to get the MacBook plugged in. Because the MacBook was on the battery and it was starting to fucking complain. And I thought it was going to last for the full stream, but apparently not. Oh.
Well, you're also supporting a mic, a camera, and
Good job, me.
and the stream.
Yeah. And I spilled bubbly all over myself. Good job.
Trying to unwind my skeins that I've wound.
Okay, hold on. Let me back up a second. Ugh. Yeah, you're in continental thumb, or you're in pearl row, blah, blah, blah. I hold the yarn for English throw, but I rotate my left hand to dive and pick through the stitches. Oh, right, okay. Oh, holding the yarn around the neck. I have heard about that one.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they kind of pull it around their neck, and then so that creates a bit of tension, and then they use their thumb. There's also there's also another way of doing it, and I think they use this in Tunisian crochet, where they hold the yarn around their neck or around a little thing around their neck, where it's not completely around their neck, but they actually have like a little clip here that creates an extra bit of tension when they're sewing or crocheting.
Oh no, the weirdest one I saw was like in what's it called, the Shetland knitting belts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The ones where you literally just had, like, if people would knit with one hand, just like brace the other needle on their belt kind of thing, and they do like stuff with their other hand,
like
and
that.
then just like knit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I mean, back in the day, if you wanted a sweater, somebody had to go shear the sheep and wash it, and then make you spin the yarn, and then they make you a sweater.
I know, but they literally have these pictures of literally these women who would be wandering around the place gathering firewood and stuff, and then they're bringing the firewood, walking back to their houses or whatever, and with the massive bundle of firewood in their back. What are they doing? Their hands are just knitting, because they just had like knitting with them. They knitted everywhere.
Or they're spinning on spindles.
Yeah. Okay, so you know how I said I was never going to learn how to spin?
Mm.
I think I'm never going to be able to. I'm never going to get that grey yarn spun.
Well, I said I'd do it for you. I just can't do it for you right now because I'm still in. I don't have any room in the house.
Yeah, I know. I figured like if I got the yarn, it should be my responsibility to spin it somehow.
You could do.
Yeah. I don't know how to spin. Nomad knows everything about wool and spinning. So.
Not everything.
I'm curious to see what you think of my crochet. It looks similar to what you're doing now. Yeah, no, I mean, like, this is... Like, this particular style I'm doing now, it's left-handed knife grip, and it picks the yarn. Okay?
But you're naturally left-handed, though.
I mean, yes, I'm technically ambidextrous. It's just I don't... I do things equally well with both hands. But I just tend to write with my left hand. I can write with my right hand as well. But I never really used it like that. So my handwriting looks like it was done by a kid. My handwriting with my left is just really bad.
I discovered I was ambidextrous when I broke my right arm. I had to,
Ouch.
Well, it was my elbow. I broke the tip of my elbow on the growth plate, so they made me wear this ginormous cast from like the tips of my fingers all the way up my arm here. Oh. And I had to hold it like this, and then of course the first thing I did was fall down, and then they had me wear it for another 2 weeks, so I had it
there you go.
for about 8 weeks. And then I started to write with my left
Those
hand.
belts are akin to lever knitting, which suitor. Oh my god, lever knitting, I have to say, is the only way that I can do chunky yarn. I have I did a hat once on like super chunky yarn, and it drove me absolutely bonkers because I couldn't do it in the regular needles. I just had my regular straight needles and I couldn't figure it out. I ended up just like getting the biggest, longest straight needles I had, and then bracing it, and then learning how to lever knit because the stuff my hands were too small for it. It was ridiculous. Say something in Irish. Ruth, what do you want me to say? I'm the same. Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is with the, like in left-handed. You're more likely to be able to use your right equally well. Oh, yeah, there you go. I have to go up by five needle sizes for everything chunky. Oh, God. I don't do well with chunky stuff. I can crochet, yes. Knitting, not so much. I try, but no.
I have a scarf I made with really chunky yarn. I love it. But that's probably... Well, no, it wasn't the last thing I crocheted. I did make a granny square blanket.
I think you still have that, don't you? I think I recall seeing it.
The scarf and the granny square blanket. It's the boat blanket for Nick.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Because it's made out of all... It's basically made out of all my odds and ends worsted weight wool that I had. And I started making a blanket. And my partner used to said when we have a boat that we recently purchased, or well, it's not recent now, it's been over a year, and it gets very damp in there and all that, so yeah, it's wool is perfect for it. So very, very warm.
So anything you want. What should I say in Irish?
Maybe of a lovely Irish saying.
Irish saying.
Something that Irish people normally say, such as grand so.
Oh, because you say stuff in English.
I love
the same
grand so.
thing.
I love saying grand so.
I don't think off the top of my head. There's one that's quite a fairly old one. It's Anian Pisho Gala. But it's not really something you're going to hear very often. And the gist of it is that like it's essentially like literal translation is something like a beetle knows another beetle.
Oh yeah.
And it's like just essentially like two
it's like a saying, yeah.
Yeah, it's like two minds, like two minds think alike kind of thing. Yeah, something like that. It's not a good translation.
Yeah, in Spanish it's like si Dios quiere, it's like they're always saying that one of the, maybe it's just what my mom always says, but anytime you say anything to her, it's like, if God wills it, it's like si Dios quiere. It's like, oh, I'll see you next week, si Dios quiere.
And maybe
I'll talk to you next week
dainty hands. I mean, I'm just saying, like, to be honest, I think you can do crochet regardless of what size your hands are. The only difficulty is like how well you do when you do it.
Get tiny little crochet hooks.
Yeah. People who do, like, I was still reading the story about this woman who crocheted a fence.
Yeah.
Using wire. And
she knit lace.
She knit a lace fence out of like electrical cord or something like that, and using like knitting needles that she'd made herself out of wooden curtain rods. You could say, will you go, lassie? I don't know what that is. She knit a lace one, yeah, size 50. Oh God, I want to do that. That sounds like such a fun thing to do. Knit a fence. Crochet a fence. I'd like to crochet a fence. I like the idea of crocheting with like stuff that should not be used for crochet. Like I was looking into like, oh, can I crochet with wire? Yeah. Can I crochet with something like to make it like freestanding?
I had a friend who was in the kind of in the medieval role playing, and they crocheted themselves like armor at one point, or before they started actually making their own armor, they crocheted using metal, like a fairly soft metal.
I mean, you could do it. You can do it. I'm not sure if you could you wouldn't get like decent armor out of it. I don't think.
I don't know how flexible it was or not. I didn't ask.
No, I mean it's possible, but the thing is that the stuff would just like, if it is flexible enough to actually do crochet with it or whatever, it's not going to do well as armor kind of thing. It'll just like an arrow go straight through it. Yeah. Well, don't ask me how I know these things. You can buy size 50s. Are pretty pricey. Will you go? Oh, will you go, lassie? Oh, that's like a Scottish thing. That's not Irish. Like I'm pretty sure it's a Scottish thing. Will you go, lassie, or whatever that song.
There's a song.
There's a song. Apparently.
Okay.
I have
don't
heard
know these
of
things.
it. Don't ask me whether to sing it.
I worked with Irish people a lot, and I spent the first few months of I knew that I had arrived in England and that I felt at home in England when I could understand the Scottish people speaking.
That's hilarious.
Well, there was this one person, he came from the Highlands, and I did not understand a word he said, and nobody could. It wasn't just me. And he showed up at the very first meeting that I showed up in, right after I'd been hired. And it was like they asked him, you know, and apparently that was his first meeting there too. And I didn't know this because I'd never been there before. But they couldn't even, you know, they asked him to spell his name because they didn't know what he said.
Oh no.
And he spelled it and nobody knew what he spelled. It was terrible.
No.
It was terrible. It was terrible because it was like my first day at work and I did not know what this person said. Anytime he said anything, it took months. And then when I was finally able to understand him, I was like, oh yes, I live here now. I truly live here now. But up until that point, anytime he was constantly calling me, you know, we had to talk to each other every day. And so every time he called me, I'm like, okay, just put that in an email, please. And, you know, hang up again. And I was like, so he thought that I was really cold and like super professional. I had to have everything in writing.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't like that at all. Like after we got to talking and meeting up, it was like, yeah, and I told him it was because I didn't know what he said. And I had to have it in writing because otherwise I wouldn't have known what he was talking about. It was pretty funny, yeah. Like, he was understanding. I think, you know, he knew that some people had a hard time.
You kind of have to be, because like you just have an awareness that like the North Americans don't understand a word you're saying, or the people are going to have issues with your accent, you know.
Well, he thought I'd spent too much time in North America at that point. I'm like, probably yes. I never really had to listen to an actual Scottish accent before, and then I was working with people who were from northern Scotland, and nobody could understand them. Not the English people either.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard.
Oh well, sucks. Oh yeah. So yes. I have a thing there. I should probably actually make an effort to do the. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do like the social thing. Yeah, go on, Ruth. Have a nice night. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi. Much appreciated. So I have the thing that just popped up in chat. Like I actually designed t-shirts because I have lots of stupid ideas for t-shirts. And this thing pops up like once an hour or something. I don't know. Anyway, I make stupid t-shirts. Go look at them. They're funny. And then I'm going to do wait, hang on. I have more than the socials. Is that the right command? Yay, there we go. Yes. Yay. Yeah, I have an Instagram and I sell vintage stuff, which is why there's a point redemption for showing vintage stuff on stream, because I got to show the vintage woodworking manual.
Okay.
I just got to show it off because it's in the pile of books right there.
Is it this top one?
No, it's the one underneath it. Oh, so yeah, it's the one underneath the other pattern. That one.
This one.
The one that's really yellow and old.
All right.
Yeah. I got to show this one for free because it blows my mind. Anyway, follow me on Instagram. I need more followers on Instagram, and I put on pictures of the stuff I'm working on up there. It's really lots of fun. Oh, and hang on. Discord. I can't spell Discord. I still can't spell. Oh. Yay, there you go. I hang out in Crochet Crafts Discord. You can find me there if you ever want to show me pictures or something, I don't know. Anyway. Look at this. This is just the wildest thing ever. Like, I bought this for $2, okay? They sold it to me for $2 because there's no barcode or anything on it, and usually they go by, like, you know, is it a paperback or hardback if it's got no barcode on it, or if it doesn't have a suggested MSRP or whatever. And obviously it doesn't because it's ancient. This is Woodworking Visualized by Ross C. Cramlett. And the copyright page on the inside is copyright 1950. This is the third printing, 1954. And I bought this because I looked at it and went, oh boy, I know this is going to be good. And lo and behold, it is, because this is essentially everything that you need to know to use hand tools to do woodworking, okay? And it's like, there's nothing electrical in this book. It describes literally nothing. The only techniques it talks about are like how to use hand tools and a full description of each, and then just like how to use them and everything. It's meant to be for like a high school or something. And how to select woods for different purposes, standard lumber abbreviations, how to select wood of different colours, which is really cool. They actually have rosewood listed here, believe it or not. Can't get that anymore. Then how to make a bill of material, and then, oh, the one that I really like, there is an entire page here of how to cut a trunk of a tree. You know, like it's this here. Growing the parts of the tree, what the rings are, the two groups of trees from which lumber is formed, then which ways you should cut them or saw them up, I guess. And like it's ridiculously extensive. And like, just here's how to get the boards. Here's how to dry wood. Like, I love it. It's nuts. And the thing that really got to me, okay, was that I was going through I actually read through the whole thing because I was just like, this is going to be great if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, okay? And there is a few of these pages in it. And this is a bill of materials for a 3-drawer cabinet. It is dated February 17th, 1956. And it is for a student. The student's name's on it, I'm not going to read that out. And they paid $4 for a whole bunch of wood, plywood, solid, whatever like that. Nails, screws and glue, 30 cents. Cutting on power tools, 40 cents. It is amazing. And this is all typed by a typewriter and some of it's written in. It's just like, it's incredible.
Let me see it.
Yeah, just take a look at that.
I hadn't seen the type pages. So.
And this is like some examples of stuff in there. Like, he's just, look at the, like, I'll just hold up to the camera there. Look at those illustrations. Like, how to saw stuff and like how to make like one of the first projects that actually describes in this is how to make a sawhorse, how to make your tool shed, like your tool bench, and how to make a toolbox out of wood. It's like, it's absolutely incredible. I love it as a piece of history, you know. This is like the kind of stuff that I live for when I go into thrift stores. Just, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell this as is. Go on, take a look. I'm going to show it to, I got to actually show it to
Nick, yeah.
Yeah, to
partner.
Nomad's partner, because he does like some woodwork stuff and I think he'd be super interested in it.
Yeah, his dad's very into woodworking as well.
Yeah.
And but
I
definitely
really
old school woodworking. Yeah.
I really don't know if I'm going to be able to get rid of it.
It's a lovely
so cool.
book.
That's some of they won't teach you that anymore. I know, right? Probably a lot of it would be considered like not safe at this point.
Probably.
It's like the sewing machine we bought where we found the original receipt from 1904. Oh my god! Keep that with it. I love that. That kind of ephemera just does not survive, which is really unfortunate. And I fucking love that stuff. Like, I loved all the old patterns, and this is like, I have like some old patterns for like the 1940s, and like this is easily one of the oldest books I found.
There was a pattern, a friend of mine who was moving out of their home. The home that they had was actually used to be their grandmother's, and the grandmother had sewn a lot, and they had all these patterns that were for children's patterns. And some of the language they used to describe like the children's sizes, you know, like if the child, let's say, was slightly bigger than normal children, I guess, they actually, it was just, they actually had it in the pattern. It was like, this is for word. It was just, yeah, it was a 1950s pattern. It was pretty crazy. There were several like that. But it was.
We don't know if
really
we should laminate or not. Ooh, tough call. Okay, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Now, I know you've worked in museums. If you're going to preserve paper, what do you need to do?
You leave it alone. You keep it in you want to keep it in archival, depending on the quality of the paper. If the paper is of if it's kind of fairly thick paper, nice paper, and it's not oxidized much, then what you want, I mean, you do the same thing, but if it's a paper that is kind of fine, it's not very high quality paper, you want to put it in an archival paper or a little archival type envelope, you know, between two pieces, and then keep it inside something that will keep it flat. You don't want to have it where it bends or anything like that. You just want to keep it kind of fairly flat and out of light, because the light is what causes fading and it causes oxidation and all sorts of things. It really, if it's fairly good quality paper, maybe it'll be a bit tougher. But if it's not, then you know you need to really
be careful about like acid
burning
and stuff. I can't remember about that.
Yeah,
but that's not likely to.
And it also depends on the ink on the paper as well.
Yeah.
You know, well, back in the day, you know, they used to use like ink gall or something like that. You know, fairly tough ink, and the ink will outlast the paper sometimes. So yeah, you know, put it in
a Pokemon sleeve.
Yeah, put it into like archival paper.
Yeah.
Or acid-free paper of some kind. I mean, like say watercolor paper or something. You know, where artist paper with a high cotton content and just basically neutral that doesn't have a lot of chemicals in it, and just put it between that and keep it flat.
So just for reference, Nomad has a degree in
history of art.
Yeah, history of art, and she's worked in museums and stuff and knows about this kind of thing.
Yes, I spent quite a bit of time working in different museums as an intern and a student. Of course, the first thing I did out of college was not work in the arts at all, but I did learn quite a bit about it, and I kind of led self here into kind of like the early days of looking at antiques and how to spot things. And
you dragged me out to like every consignment. Like, we went to all the consignment stores and we went to Turnabout and a bunch more places.
Yeah,
just looking at vintage stuff. It was hilarious.
Yeah, because you kind of, the more you look at it, the better you can tell.
Yeah. It's very thin too, but we do keep it out of the light. It's been left in the sewing machine drawer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Is like if it's probably been kept somewhere where it's been kind of quiet. If it's been bent a lot, like if it's folded, keep it folded. You know, basically keep it how you found it, but just put it in archival paper. And because especially if you're going to be in and out of that drawer a lot, you don't want to mash it about a lot. So keep it somewhere where it's going to be quiet. Sometimes what people have done is they put it into this archival paper and then maybe into like there's also archival cardboard. I mean, it's not that hard to get because you can get it for photographs and things, and you make a little envelope and then you tape it somewhere where it's going to stay, and you know, attached to the to the object. Or if it's got a little tray, you can kind of tape it inside the tray or something with a little written by pencil, you know, this is original receipt for a machine, so that you know what's in there.
Yeah, you got to protect this stuff because it does not last.
No, and it's actually a very good way of kind of building.
I only have all that in hand, of course.
Especially when it's something that old, you know, you want to keep the provenance of it too.
Yeah, that's true. Like a lot of the really old patterns that I get, like they're printed on kind of glossy paper, you know. So that, I mean, there's the one that I have there, which is I think from like the 1950s or something, or maybe the 1960s. Is fairly old, and that was like the needlecraft catalog, and that's like proper, like printed on, like all the actual illustrations are all just actually printed and like it's almost screen printed or something. They're too nice to just be done by dot matrix or something like that, and they are old. But like even then, the paper was really kind of grey and kind of faded and stuff. Not sure what you can do with that, but at least it's thick paper. It's going to last a bit longer. I'll definitely have to tune into y'all again sometime. Oh yeah, no, dude, go to bed. Yeah, this is it's like what, like 10:30. It's like 10:30 at night here in the Pacific Northwest in Vancouver. Yes, we're coming to you here from Vancouver, BC. Yeah, no, go to bed. It's like we don't expect anybody else to follow our weird time zone just because we can stay up until all hours.
We usually do. I'm a night owl. I'm up at this time of night very easily.
Do you the day off tomorrow? Tomorrow's Easter
I
Monday.
do have the day off tomorrow.
Yeah, 4-day weekend.
I know. I've really tried not to do very much this weekend. I managed to do a few things, but
no, you gotta do nothing.
Yeah, I really needed to not do anything. I've had a really busy week. And I'll have a very busy week next week as well. But also we recently moved, so our house looks like it. You know, it's sort of like what hoarders' homes look like. You know, when that show Hoarders. At one point, that's what our house looked like. It was like you had to have little pathways through, or you wouldn't get through it. And every time you walked somewhere, something would knock over. It's
a work in progress. You guys haven't been there very long.
No, but the work in progress means that work has to progress. It still needs to be done. So even after a full day of working, I still have a whole bunch of other stuff to do at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a particularly restful place at the moment, but it is. You know, it's very nice, and we were enjoying the sunshine today as well. And we did laundry for the first time here.
You did laundry for the first time. Oh my god, progress!
And completely confused as well.
I also got to head to bed. Just good seeing you. Yeah, no, go on, River. I'll catch you on stream or something. Or I'll see you on the Discord. Go on, go to bed. That's exciting though. You did like laundry for the first time.
You know, it's really confusing though. I should have. I just asked you because they've been here a lot longer, or you've been here a lot longer than we have. But there's no signs about how much money you need to actually put into the washers and dryers, and then how long
we didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's no signs at all about it. So I had no idea how much I needed to put into the dryers in order to get them to dry our clothes.
Yeah, no, it's like 2/4 for the washing machines, and then for the dryers it's like I think there's some of them that you could just put quarters into, and it's like 2 quarters, like half an hour or something.
Yeah,
and then you put in $1, it's like an hour. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's very confusing. So I was very confused, and then I wish I'd just asked you, but by that point we were like, "Oh, we'll just figure it out." I mean, we have to
slam coins in.
Well, we ended up putting. Well, we were drying towels, and it just took. You know, it's like okay, so I just kept putting coins in.
Yeah.
But then we were like, every 20 minutes we'd have to run back and check. So.
No, it's like you stick $1 in and runs for an hour, you're grand. Yeah. Like somehow we have really cheap washer dryers, still. Like it was like, and the thing is that you didn't even have to pay for it. It was like we ended up having to start paying. We used to have, we live in a housing co-op, and we used to have like free washers and dryers, and we ended up having to start paying for them just because like we needed to pay for the maintenance on them basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they kept finding stuff in the washers. It was just weird. Like,
well, they get a lot of, you know, like you do need to maintain them quite regularly.
Yeah. It was just more annoying than anything else. It's like, okay, guys, we need to get money to maintain the machines. So sorry, guys, it's just how it's gonna go, I guess. Oh, I can't use public machines. I'm deathly allergic to rice, so I have to have my own private machines. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that's so bad, Topher. Like we're basically we're in a housing co-op, so it's not quite public, if that makes sense. It's like there's 8 buildings and there's about 50 homes here, 50 families that all just like live in the housing co-op, and it's like we have the laundry room that serves for the whole co-op, and there's like 6 dryers and 4 washing machines, and
it's a bit of a learning curve for us, because for the first time in about, I would say, let's see, even before that, I would say the first time in 23 years maybe that I've not had my own laundry. Like even like I've been in shared homes where we had the laundry was shared with somebody else, but it was still a private machine, I guess you could say. Or we've had our own machines. Even in the UK, we had our own like little machine in the. Yeah,
like in Ireland, that was exactly it. Like there was no shared machines at all. Every like apartment has its own washer.
Yeah, because the washers, they're much smaller, and people expect you to have a tiny little washer. They're not very big, but they do fit into your kitchen. Yeah. Like they will have a washer before they'll have a dishwasher, and so in the UK we didn't need it. When we moved to, even in Mexico, we had our own washer and dryer. And in the States, even the places we rented usually had their own washer and dryer. This is the first place we've lived in that hasn't.
Yes, this is going to be interesting. Like you're going to be sharing washer dryer.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a student, I used to have to go and do the laundry and go to the laundromat and do the whole thing. So it's much nicer that here we can sign up and say, okay, we're going to go at this time, and you have to plan ahead more.
Yeah.
But it's been a really long time, so I kind of had to remind myself, okay, we have to remember to go and look at the laundry, and you have to remember to like, okay, you left your laundry there, now you have to go. At least we don't have to sit there and stare at it for 2 hours,
No.
Like we had to do it in the laundromat, where we literally, it's like, okay, grab a book and just go sit there for 2 hours.
There's no one's got time for that. It's boring.
No, it was very boring. Also very
that few machines for some, like, I mean, you'd be surprised I don't kind of like, there's about, hang on, it's like 54 units, 54 like apartment townhouses, whatever you want to call them, and they're various sizes from 1 bed to 3 bed, and I've never noticed that many. There's not really been like issues with laundry. People just kind of sign up to use it, and that's it. I don't know. It's like that few machines. Yeah, I don't know. It's 54 units, but it's not all units of the same size. It's not all families. there's like, you know, individual people, like just like one person living in the one beds kind of thing, you know. I don't know, it's just, it's never come up.
I wonder if we could put a washer in our unit. Like one of those little English washers.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that you could, but you'd be draining it into the sink or something like that. You'd have to get like a hose connection or something.
Yeah. No, what I found interesting is that in the UK, you had these little washers that were really tough. They washed really well, and they were also dryers, like washer dryer.
Yeah, no,
like they could dry it, you know.
Yeah.
And they great seal and all that. But in the States, you couldn't. There were like the ones that they did have for sale were absolute rubbish. Like the seals were terrible. You couldn't, you couldn't beg for one. You had to buy a full. I mean, even a small one, you couldn't find one where you could just stick it into a small space. You had to have a washer dryer setup, and even the apartment size ones were still bigger than the ones that we had in the UK. And then yet the ones in the UK and in Europe, you know, the one my sister had and things like that, they were much better. Like they lasted longer. They were just a lot better. I was really dumbfounded by the fact that they had all this technology, but they couldn't figure out a washer. You know.
I mean, I guess so. I never know. It's like that's the thing. It's like the agreement that I have with my better half is that I don't do laundry. He does the laundry. I can put away the clothes, and I'm very good at folding clothes or whatever, but I just don't do laundry. I am not suited for such things.
Yeah. In my house, we each do our own laundry. Because I got tired of just, you know, it always fell on me, and I do not like laundry, so I was happy to do my own laundry. And, you know, for kids, you kind of have to do your own laundry. And also,
it's like we have to do theirs, like.
Yeah. I mean, when my kid got old enough, they started doing their own laundry. But I was also getting tired. Like my partner's happy to do laundry too, but for him, it's like you grab your clothes, you throw it all in there, and then my cashmere sweaters or my hand knit socks and stuff were all in there, and suddenly they weren't there anymore, or they were like this big. So it was like, I wanted special care taken, and you know, for them it was just like, I'm just throwing it all in there. So we just decided my kid does their clothes, I do my clothes, my partner does his clothes, and that, you know, I can put as much care or lack of care into my clothes, and then that way nobody can blame anyone else either. Yeah. And my kid also is responsible for their laundry. We have to remind them, by the way, have you done your laundry? Do you have clean clothes this week? No.
You gotta do your laundry.
You gotta do the laundry, but you know, they're gonna have to learn to do
how's it going? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah. Hello. I can't see actually. I'm like maybe I need to get my glasses fixed now.
Oh, it's fine. It's just like every time Crowbar Scout shows up, they always have that emote. So anytime I see that, and I see that it's like, it just looks like I obviously have the MacBooks over there kind of thing. I'm just like, I know who that is. Totally do. Don't know. I don't know why. See, I got a master lurker. Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for lurking. Hope you enjoy. I'll bugger that up. Good job, me. Does anybody else actually have a 4-day weekend, or is it just Canada?
I don't know if it's officially a 4-day weekend, but unofficially it is. But in my company, they actually do allow us to take both days off. But officially, it was just the Friday that was the actual holiday. But a lot of people take the Monday off as well. I keep getting confused about what are actual statutory holidays and what are not. So I keep
was
forgetting.
constantly having to be reminded of it, in fairness.
Yeah, I keep
like, forgetting. I mean, I'm still a feckless layabout, so every day is a holiday for me, apparently.
Not for me, unfortunately. But tomorrow it will be, and I'll be very happy about that. So I have done half a sleeve.
How big is this actually going to be when you're done?
You know, I have really short arms, so not much more. I could say it's 3/4 arm or a half an arm, and there we go. We're done. It's more about the width of the armhole. That's the important bit right now. But I think I need to get it up to here, because this is it's kind of slightly slouchy. It's kind of meant to be a bit bigger. This is the one side. So this is from the neck up like this, and it goes a little bit below my natural shoulder. So I kind of have to get it up to here.
It's going to be a really nice sweater, jumper, sweater. I don't know.
It'll be it's a cardigan.
Cardigan. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's with my favorite wool, Peace Fleece.
Are you going to have to just do the wait? It's called again steeking.
No,
you're not doing the thing where you cut it.
No, that steeking you said if you're doing everything in one piece, and they do it a lot for color work for Scandinavian sweaters. Yeah. You do it all in the round and together, and then you cut it because the yarn is so sticky it sticks to each other and it felts on itself just by being knit. You cut it and then you pick up and knit on the edges, like the armbands and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. The armholes, the neck opening, the whole thing. You can just cut it open. That's what my grandmother. That's how she learned to do it. Is basically you just do it all. And then you cut it. It's like, oh, forget the armholes. You just cut it where you want it. You want an arm. You want a pocket. Cut it. And but it really is very much dependent on the wool you use. If you don't have this really sticky wool, it's gonna fall apart. And the worst thing is the first time you steek something, because here you've spent like weeks doing this fancy color work pattern, and then you're actually gonna take scissors to it. It's really scary. But once you've done it, you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's a cool thing to do, but it's kind of scary. It's intimidating.
I think I really prefer doing it with crochet, because crochet is always just like wherever you are, it'll only unravel in like 2 directions kind of thing. Because it's always worked as a single line going back and forth, not going up and down kind of thing.
There was this lady that used to be able to, she repaired knitted items, and when she was done with it, you could not tell that it had been repaired. It was like completely seamless. And it's an art form that is lost, actually.
Really?
It's an art form. She also had lots of bits of yarn, like just little snippets of yarn, so she could color match it and match the wool almost exactly. And she had a particular way of doing it that was, learning how to darn your clothes.
Yeah.
Which, nowadays not a lot of people do that. They don't darn their own. Like if you're you have a sweater, you bought a sweater and you get a hole in it, or a moth eats it up because they love expensive sweaters, you just get a new one. But back then it's like you had your sweater and you darned it. And she knew how to darn sweaters and things, but it definitely was a lost art form to get it so seamless. I've tried darning some sweaters, but it's hard to do. It's really hard to get it right, and it never is quite right. So yeah, that's definitely it's becoming a lost art form. And she was the only person in that place that could do it, in the whole city. And
God, now I'm really curious. Like, it's maybe another possible skill to learn.
It is.
Because at least there might be something that's very transferable over to crochet, at least.
Well, crochet or knitted, like say something that's machine knitted is harder to, because it's really fine.
Yeah.
But you do almost knit it together, which is kind of what she did. But there's definitely a technique involved that we just don't get shared. It doesn't get shared around anymore.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's something I definitely want to look at.
Yeah, there's some really old books that used to show you how to mend. Kind of nowadays people are starting to mend their socks a bit more and things like, especially
it's like
socks.
there's a thing that I keep seeing ads for on Instagram, because apparently now that Instagram has figured out that this account is into ye olde crafty stuff, then it's kind of just like, okay, so we're just gonna throw all of these ads at you, and they have this little thing that's like makes darning really easy.
Yeah, like a darning egg.
Is that what they're called?
Well, it's like this thing that has a handle on it, and then it looks like a mushroom.
Something like that.
And you stick it like that, and it kind of stretches out the knitting.
Yeah.
And you basically knit it together.
It looks a bit like that, yeah. It has like a bunch of what you call it? It's got like a bunch of. It's like the thing that the fabric goes over, and you put elastic or something around it, and then it has a thing that slips on top, which lets you put like a or some shit.
That's like a weaving thing though.
Yeah.
And that's more to cover up patches and things, but this is more the darning egg is where it basically just you put it underneath your knitting like that, and then you put it your the spot that you need to darn over it, and then it stretches it out like that, and that gives you a better view of what the stitches are, and then you just go over them with your yarn and basically knit it back together. It's very, there's a certain type of skill, because you need to know how much you pull, you know, because if it's two threads that have broken out, can you need to pull them out a certain amount and then knit it back in, or use a different thread, and then how you get it into that space and out of it, that space, once you've done it, and get it tight enough and part of the whole thing that it doesn't come apart. There's certainly a technique to it, because I've tried it. There are some really nice cashmere sweaters that I have, that some of them are pretty old, and until I figured out that I needed to put them in linen bags.
Oh yeah, this is like, I remember
fine weaved linen bags. The moths can't eat through those.
Yeah.
But you need to wash the cashmere, and then you put them in these bags right away before the moths have time. They keep getting eaten away a little bit by moths, and so I needed to darn certain bits. And it's just hard to do, because even where I darned it, it just fell off completely after that. So it's, I've been wanting to learn it better, because I don't want to get rid of those sweaters. They're really nice.
I mean, they're cashmere or whatever like that. I'm pretty sure they'd be really expensive to replace.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple that belong to my mother, actually. And she bought them in the 70s. And the cashmere, you compare the feel of them and the cashmere on them compared to the cashmere of the newer sweaters I have. They are the sweaters that I have from my mother are so much thicker and heavier, and they just look completely new. You wouldn't know that they were from the 70s, except for the fact that even the style is fairly classic, but the newer ones are, they pill a lot faster. They're not as thick, and they do, even where the moths have not been to them, they break apart a lot easier. Like, there's certain parts that are stretched out because I've worn them, and their elbows are a bit stretched.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I was in a thrift store once, right, and I managed to get some Bruno Cucinelli cashmere tops, and don't make me wrong, they were really nice. Okay, weren't really my color. They were kind of this lilac color, and I don't think it really suited me. I was just more impressed by the fact that, oh my god, I found a pair of $1,000 cashmere tops sitting in a thrift store for $5 a piece, and I just I'm totally going to buy these and keep them and show them off and everything like that. And there was two problems with this. One, color was not great. Two, fit was not great. Actually, three problems. The third one, they stank of perfume, and nothing I could do with them just to get rid of the smell. But eventually I ended up just getting rid of them, because apart from the fact that they were just really not really suiting me, I guess. But the other thing that was going on with them is that they just really just weren't that great quality, even though they were a brand that was in theory super expensive. But yeah, that was the same thing. They pilled up, they stretched in weird places. They were they seemed like they weren't worth a whole lot of money. As far as I could tell, they were legitimate. Yeah. They were actually by Bruno Cucinelli. They were Cucinelli tops, but were they actually worth anything? I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know how big the cashmere industry is nowadays, where, are they all coming from the same place or not? But it was.
Yeah, but I mean, where's cashmere actually from? Well,
it's a cashmere goat.
Yeah, there you go.
And you kind of comb. It's their underhairs, I think, and they comb them out of the cashmere goat, or they shave them off.
Yeah.
But so it used to only come from certain places. Now it's much more prevalent, and it's more popular, but it's also much more mixed as well. There's it's sort of, you don't get pure cashmere. You get cashmere mixed with silk, or cashmere mixed with merino wool, or some other kind of wool. So they call it cashmere, but really it's maybe 50% cashmere. If it's 100% cashmere, but it's much thinner nowadays. It's not as thick as it used to be.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was reading up about about the. Was you were telling me about the dog hair?
Oh yeah. Oh, the indigenous people who had dogs that they used for like people use sheep nowadays. I don't remember if it was the Coast Salish people but they were from Vancouver Island, I believe.
Yeah, it's just somewhere around here,
in this area.
The woolly Salish dog.
Yeah, and the dogs themselves have, they have died off. They used to comb these dogs and use their fur.
Yeah.
Or use their hair as and they knitted them into sweaters.
Yeah, they weave them into blankets. Apparently, there's only like one dog hair blanket still left, and it's in a museum somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know, which is absolutely wild when you think about it. But it's just like, what a thing! It's like, because I know, like, thinking of really like woolly dogs or ones with really long hair, like the Afghan hounds and stuff.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, why has no one thought to just harvest their hair? Because that's long strands of hair.
Because they smell like wet dog when you do it.
Okay.
I've had a friend do it. They had a woolly dog and they were like, right, let's do this, and they harvested the hair. Because every time they brushed them, they had a big ball of fur.
Yeah.
So they learned to spin, and in their efforts of spinning, they're like, why don't I just spin this dog? So they actually combed it through with some other wool.
Yeah.
And they spun it, and then they knit a little sweater out of it or a hat or something, and it smelled like wet dog. Like, it just smelled like wet dog. No matter how much they washed it, whenever it got wet, it smelled like wet dog. It was very nice and soft, and kind of like what they thought. It had a few guard hairs here and there, but it did smell like wet dog. And so then they thought, maybe I'll make a dog sweater for the dog that it came from. The dog freaked out, did not like it at all.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they did not want to go anywhere near it. It was just too weird. But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I have a dog and she's very sniffy. She's a beagle, and it's funny because she sheds a lot, and we are constantly picking up dog hair, and she's constantly sniffing at it. I'm like, it's coming from you. You know where it comes from. So it's like, anyway, that's just an aside.
Weird. I still remember the book that I picked up. That I don't know if I put it on Instagram or not, but I'm tempted to, because it was just like projects to make with cat fur. Literally, like, you brush your cat, you get a whole bunch of cat hair, and you felt stuff with it. And I still can't believe that that's the. I should not be surprised that that's a thing.
I'm sure that
I'm
there
kind of more
is a thing
surprised. I'm
people
more
do.
surprised that someone wrote a book about it, and they had enough for an entire book.
Well, they probably had a very, very fuzzy cat. We had a very fussy cat, and
Picture on it, okay, with someone holding up a finger with this little, like, looks like a felted puppet of a cat, okay, and the cat is sitting next to them, and sniffing at it, okay. That's on the cover of the book.
probably freaking out.
It just, oh god, it's such a thing. It's like,
It's weird. I don't know. I mean, I guess
weird
it's
about that.
like you make a wool. You go out, you shear your sheep, you make your wool blanket or whatever, and then you put it on the sheep, and the sheep's like, okay, it's like I could grow my own. Thank you.
it makes you wonder though. It's like, is that the only thing that sheep have going for them? Is that when you actually harvest their wool or whatever, that it doesn't smell like wet sheep when it gets wet?
Well, no, but you have to put it through a lot for it not to smell like wet sheep. I mean, it's like
yeah, okay.
there's a lot that it needs to go through in order for it not to smell like sheep, and the fact that sheep roam out in the countryside. Sometimes, like in the UK, you'll see some sheep are walking around with these little blankets on them, and what they're trying to do is keep that these are sheep that they are probably, like, for sheep that are going to be used for spinning wool, like for wool that is gonna be spun, they are a bit more expensive, I guess. You know, it's more, they have to be more precious with the wool, so they don't want them to get too dirty. So they put
like
these little blankets
sheep,
on them.
And
So they don't get so dirty, but they do get dirty. They get all sorts of stuff on their fur. They roll around. They get underneath bushes. There's all sorts of foul mess on them. Other sheep, like, if they have baby sheep, they'll climb on them. It's sort of like there's all sorts of stuff in sheep wool. And when you first shear a sheep, I mean, sheep stink. They smell.
Oh yeah.
And you shear them, and this is, they have body oils and all sorts of stuff as well. And they basically try and, I think we were talking about it yesterday, where they shear the sheep, and in the old days they used to keep they would wash it, and you have to wash it and boil it to get the lanolin off, and getting the lanolin off also gets a lot of other mess up from it. But for fishermen or for people who needed more weatherproof clothing, they would keep the lanolin on, so they would wash it with lye and stuff, but they would try and keep the lanolin on so they wouldn't boil it.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not quite sure about that, but and then they would spin it with the oil on it, with the lanolin, which is the grease.
Yeah.
And then that made it very, water resistant, at least, the very least. Sheep wool is also naturally a fire retardant as well.
Yeah.
So nowadays they completely clean the sheep. They separate the lanolin and then they put it back in if they want the wool itself to have lanolin in it.
Yeah.
So there's some wool that you can actually, when you're knitting with it, you can, or spinning, you can actually feel the lanolin on it. But
I still want to make a coat out of that. I think that would be a really fun thing to do. Like make a coat out of like wool that would make it almost waterproof or water resistant.
It would be heavy.
Yeah, I know. Because
the lanolin is kind of heavy too, but it is very cool. It is very cool to when you touch the sheep wool, it is very soft. And when if you have a petting zoo and you're allowed to pet the sheep, you touch them and you rub your hand on them or something, and you come out and your hand is a bit soft because it's got this lanolin on it.
Yeah.
I
know what they do with like spinning and stuff, and they card the wool or something. Is that what it is? Like these enormous wire brushes, and they just like rub them together and separate all the fibers and stuff or something.
It's trying to get the fibers to all go the same direction. Because although you can spin, there's a certain method of spinning where you actually use the lock of the sheep, and so the sheep have these locks, and you sort of use the lock and you spin from the lock itself, and it's a particular way of spinning it, and people think that that's actually gives it more strength as wool.
Okay.
I have some locks that I actually spin with, that I bought with, they were still in the lock, but it still needs to be carded a bit, which is, carding is you have the brush, and then you use the other brush and you go on top like that, and you kind of get it all going the same direction, and then that way it's easier to spin. It's sort of almost like a you develop like a little almost like a back in the day when if you had like 5 children, you with the youngest being the one plucking out the stuff from the wool, and then or carding it, and then the older one kind of getting it to be more batted, and then the oldest one being the one spinning, because you needed a bit more dexterity. So everybody was doing something in the process of doing this. Like you set up an assembly line of getting the wool to be spun. Yeah. And nowadays it's kind of like, you sit down, and depending on how you get the wool, because some of the wool nowadays comes to you already in a bat, which is all you have to do is pull it out and start spinning with it. Or they even come already into little, you have to stretch it out and kind of put it into almost like a little log that you can use, so you don't have to be constantly stopping.
But I mean, that's like the hanks or whatever that we get. They're plaited or whatever, like that big, thick kind of roving, or
it's something like that.
Something
that
like
you can just spin it.
Yeah.
And then there's but you can also get it more natural. You can get it in locks. You can get it in all sorts of ways, and spin from that instead, or just prepare it yourself, even dye it yourself.
I know, but I don't really want to do that. It would be nuts.
I really like spinning. It's very soothing for me. Although I finally, because we moved into a smaller place, I had 2 spinning wheels, and I ended up keeping the smaller one. I have and maybe next time we do this, I'll bring my spinning wheel.
You totally should, because you like I know a lot of people here on over who spin on string or whatever like that, but they always have the electric ones, and you have literally a proper traditional sewing machine, spinning machine with the foot pedals and stuff.
Yeah, I do have. It's not a proper traditional one. It's definitely different. It's a pocket wheel. It's called a pocket wheel, and it's actually handmade by a guy in, I think it's in Whidbey Island in Washington State.
Yeah.
And it's very compact. It's very small. But I used to have an Ashford traditional wheel, which is sort of like almost like the Cinderella wheel.
It is the Cinderella wheel. Sleeping Beauty wheel.
Or Sleeping Beauty
wheel. Yeah.
Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. It's one that spins, and it had a single threadle, and that meant that you used one foot to tap with it, and that I loved that wheel. That was super versatile, really lovely wheel. I really loved it. The other wheel that I have is a much smaller one. It's much more compact. It's lovely, and I really enjoy.
You said that you need to be like in the right frame of mind to do spinning.
Not that kind of spinning. I also have a lot of spindles, and I love spindles because I love wood and I like how they feel. So I'm a very tactile person, and that's why I like this kind of wool. The Peace Fleece is a very woolly kind of wool. It's almost, people find it rough. I don't, but some people do find it itchy or rough.
I mean, I find it itchy or rough. Like that's
this is
a lot of yours.
I think it's really nice. I love it. It's very it's a very firm wool. I'm very tactile, so I really like nice wood. I like art that is functional, and I think spindles are art that is functional. And spindle spinning is definitely where I have to be in a certain frame of mind, or else I cannot do it. But once I am in the frame of mind, it's really fun to do. It's really easy to do.
I remember you trying to show me once how to use the drop spindle, and I just did not have a clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's again, it's one of those that you used to be taught how to do spindle spinning when you were like 2 years old. You know, you learned to do it on your leg, you know, to kind of twist the yarn, and then by the time you were 5 you were already doing it, and by the time you were 10 you were making your own clothes, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's what there are certain cultures where that's what the girls do, is that they sit around, chat, and spin. You know, that's, you know, I love spindle spinning, I think, because it's a bit of a throwback. It's something that you can do while you're walking and doing all sorts of other stuff.
Well, I mean, apparently you can do just about anything when you're walking. You can knit while you walk.
Yeah. Well, some people do. That's they were knitting, and the other ones were spinning it, and then somebody else was knitting it.
I still love the pictures of these. I mean, like the old, like the Shetland women or whatever. They're just literally wandering around the place and knitting and everything. But there's also the one with like where it was just a bunch of women that were sitting around in Victorian clothes or whatever like that, and one of them was knitting straight off the hank. Just she literally had it thrown over her shoulder. And another one had the hank that was being held by a kid or something like that, and they'd knit straight off it. Yeah, love that.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I part of what I like the tradition of spinning and knitting is because it is something that was done a long time ago, and it kind of doing a handcraft that was done by everybody. I mean, like there was a time when everybody knew how to do it. Like if you were female and alive and over 5 years old, that's what you did. You were taught to do this. Everybody knew it because it was such an essential part of life. And it is so completely out of our life now. You know, people can go their whole lives never knowing anything about spinning wheels at all. My mother did. You know, she didn't really know anything about spinning wheels until I got into it. And her generation is not even that far removed from that, you know, her mother's generation. Like
my mother, again, I was taught to crochet by my grandmother and my godmother. And they never ever talked to me about like spinning. It's just another thing that was done. Knitting, yes, huge Irish tradition of that, but spinning it, no.
Well, I mean, I think there must have been a stigma at some point, you know, where it's like, oh, you know, you have to be really poor not to be able to afford to at least go buy some wool somewhere. You know, or something. It's like
like I mean, the thing is that like I grew up like quite close to the woolen mills. Yeah. In where is it again? I want to say Tara. I can't remember. But like it's Irish wool. We're fairly fucking well known for Irish wool. It's like the thing is the reason why, like, I will forget sometimes, and sometimes call yarn wool, because in Ireland all yarn is wool. Yeah. Or like, regardless of what it's actually made of, it's all just called wool.
Yeah. In Spanish it's lana, and lana is the sheep wool, but it's also yarn or spinning yarn.
Any kind of yarn.
Any kind of yarn. Yeah, it's funny because, like, you know, in Chile where my mother was living, I mean, she says that I got taught to spin very young because we lived in a very big island. Oh, that looks cool.
I know, right? I love it. I'm so happy about the way that it's come out. I should have really made it like.
You're almost out of yarn. You're gonna have to start closing it up.
Huh? Oh yeah, I mean, it's a whole bunch of. That's super thin, so I've got a whole bunch there. I think I'll get a good. I'm gonna just go until it's done. I don't give a shit.
You're not gonna do a closed off edge here.
I may finish it off just by filling in. Like, I'll do one final row and just fill in the divots, essentially. That's it. I'm going to call it good after that. I was thinking if I'm going to go put a fringe in it, but I'm just basically probably going to say fuck it and not bother. I'll go as far as, I'll see if I can get this much on the other side here.
I think you can, I don't know.
But like, maybe, that's about it. Maybe. Like, I may get it. I don't know if I know. But I don't really care. It's going to be like this enormous dragon shawl. I just love the fact that you can actually just sort of kind of see the dragon, which is the important thing. I was like, oh, I want to be able to see the fucking dragon. That was the point of the pattern.
I guess you're not looking for it.
Yeah, right? Like, he does look kind of cool.
It looks
Look
very
at that. That's like, if it stretched out a little bit, that would be the fucking Skyrim dragon. That's all I want. Like, if I ever sell this pattern, I'm calling it the shawl of the Dovahkiin, which is from Skyrim. So like the Dragonborn. Like, they just.
That's lovely.
That's so nice. I like it. And if I, the way I was gonna, it's like you either wear it like with the dragon on your back, or like essentially like that. I'm just gonna pull this out. Fuck it. Just like that, and then just.
You make sure the dragon is visible.
I want to figure it out some way so that like where's the corner of it? This bit. Like that you should put it on this shoulder, so that the wherever the dragon is, I can't see where he is, so that the dragon wings are across your shoulder, and it's not fucking long enough.
Is that it?
Somehow. Yeah, so like that, and then essentially pin it. Something like this. Fuck this.
I mean, even if it didn't have the dragon, it looks still very, very striking.
Yeah. But this is why I wanted to, like, it's something like that. See, so I want you to see there. You can kind of see it there, you know, with the big wing or whatever like that across your shoulder. I wanted to do it something like that, and I wanted to do it so that like you could have a brooch or whatever here to actually hold it in place, because. It's still like I still want to do traditional Celtic brooches. I think it would be fun.
You should do.
Yeah, there's something like that. I think this looks.
It looks really nice. Looks really good.
Looks nice. It'll look pretty good if it's longer.
Yeah, but I mean it's a good size now already.
Yeah. I'm gonna just use I want to use the rest of it because I want something that's literally long enough for me to just throw it out. Like I want to just like. Here's the front of it. That's the front of it. Like literally just like that. Huge big shawl or whatever like that, because then you see the tops of the wings there. Like if I make it a little bit longer, then the wings are going to just fall right on my back and my shoulders, and they're going to go down the dragon will go down my back.
Very nice.
Hey farmer, sorry, I put the announcement on Discord. I'm making this cool, check this out, can you see the dragon? I love it.
It's looking really good.
I know, it's like I'm so happy that he's kind of coming together nicely. Look at that. Fucking dragon. Skyrim dragon. I'm going to just write up this pattern somehow.
Yeah, you will do.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Oh, we've been working. Yeah, I know, sure, we're all working. I like it. So pretty.
Yeah, you're almost done actually. Well, the skein's almost done.
Yeah, the skein is almost. Did I leave the?
I think you're sitting on it.
Oh, there's a hook. Yeah, there we go.
Anyway, I need to get.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's quitting time because it's past 11 or whatever. So, thanks very much, guys. I'll just take a quick look and see if there's anyone online that we can raid. Is there anybody on? Snow Peep is still on. Will we go raid Snow Peep? Actually, we may raid Topher. We may just raid Topher. Okay. Topher's on and playing No Man's Sky, and I think that he could do with a raid. So let's see if I can do this. Yeah, see if Farmer. No worries. I'll just see if I can do this now. Open link in new window. Give me this.
From DreamWorks Animation, who brought you Shrek and
Oh my god, shut up. How do I stop you?
It's an action-packed animated adventure.
No. Stop. Okay. Raid. Oh fuck! And you see what I mean? I can't even I can't copy paste into this. You have to actually paste like that. It's annoying as hell. Okay, all right, let's go. Yes, so long. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, thanks everybody for coming along. Thanks for hanging out and stuff. I hope you guys have a really good Easter weekend, whatever, and I hope you have the day off tomorrow. Let's go see what Topher's doing. Do. Come on and do the thing. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to jump over to Topher now.
Look at you. You're done already? Welcome. Raiders, thank you for popping in with them. Welcome everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna make Topher sing. That would be insane.
Your
yeah, no worries.
Skyrim shawl is Skyrim shawl.
There's a lot of financial noise out there. How do you stay ahead of it? You can start with Fidelity's global network of experts, focused on building your wealth, serious research capabilities, and a lineup of mutual funds and ETFs that we believe are just plain enviable.
This man is the king's fabulous riches. I'll be the king of phones to think he'd give it away.
So annoying. The ads just pop up randomly. It's really stupid.
You've done it wrong too.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them. It's fucking painful. And this is actually all. Okay, no, there we go. Okay, I know that was just a really long time. Thank you very much for hanging out and doing this, whatever the hell we're doing.
Look at it.
It's fun.
Eat it. And
And
if it's not food,
next time I should bring my
then that is
I need to find my spinning wool first,
Yeah,
and
the
then
Skyrim shawl is cool.
get my spinning under control. Do you want to make it more regular, or is I'm still a guest?
I would like to do that. Like I'm still thinking about like making like a regular stream slot during the week as well, which I still
Yeah.
haven't gotten my shit together to do.
Well, let me know.
Yeah.
It's I'm. I mean, I like doing this. It's fun. It's different. I've never done anything like this before. I mean, it's kind of like radio DJing except with a person. So I mean, I don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
And,
It's not like it's nice to have like just someone to talk to,
Yeah.
because it's usually 2 hours of me talking to myself, and
Yeah.
that's
although you do
just-
interact with them, and I don't know. I think that's probably why you felt that you were talking over me before, is because you would see people coming up and talking to you,
Yeah.
and I was talking about something else, and that's not something that I can't see it very well, so I'm not really on top of it. But that's just something that probably we need to improve.
Oh my
so.
god.
Doggone it, we have manners. Make a Skyrim shawl for the Skyrim shawl.
Topher's funny. Yeah, I gotta kind of think of kind of ways to make the stream interesting. I know I keep looking at everyone's just like, oh, you know, you're entertaining and everything, but I'm just like, am I really?
I think you are. Nox thought you were.
I have
They
not-
watched your other vids
Very
or
sad
VODs.
for you.
Is it VODs?
Gods, yeah.
It's not happening.
They thought you were, so.
Cypher Love has wares if you have coin.
There,
Yeah?
you're still alive.
How can I still be live?
I'm watching you right now.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop streaming. Here we go.